Hey, great to be with you guys. A fantastic opportunity, not just for the president, but for our nation to see the commander-in-chief go to the Middle East, a 3-day trip. And again, for him, a chance to talk business, but more importantly, also to possibly talk about peace deals. Now, as you can well imagine, a trip like this doesn't happen unless there are deliverables. And in this particular case, that is exactly what we expect to happen. We're talking about this idea that there will be, say, some financial deals, big announcements, future negotiations. And to that end, the president, as you know, is looking to secure as much as $1 trillion in investments from the Saudis, while the crown prince looks to secure his country's economic, defense, and nuclear energy partnerships with the world's economic leader. Now, what's more, there's a very strong interest in peace in the region, as you well know, to say nothing of across the globe, and therefore we should expect the president to lean into talks to tamp down fighting in places like, I don't know, Pakistan and India, Israel and Gaza, even Ukraine and Russia.
Trump is walking into the Middle East, in my opinion, like a wartime CEO. I've said this before multiple times. He speaks the language of the Middle East. So it's about oil, it's about security, and it's about aligning the Arab world, in my opinion, closer to the U.S., to counter Iran and China. And I think he's going to roll that out like the absolute leader that he is, and it's something that Biden couldn't touch.
The great Aaron Cohen, that guy is terrific as an analyst. Now, we're talking about a lot of investment. We talked about $1 trillion trip. Look at some of the numbers here, folks. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion pledged over the next 4 years. Qatar as well, $300 billion, including a major jumbo jet deal, obviously the UAE as well. And it's not just there. We're talking about technology, too. A very big gathering of some of the world's tech titans also happening. Tech leaders attending this U.S.-Saudi investment forum, where we expect to hear from the president. Among the luminaries we expect to hear from and or see the great Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman of OpenAI, Larry Fink, and others. Again, a very heady group as they try to, once again, enhance our footprint in terms of technology in the region. Now, getting the investment that we've been hearing a lot about, $1 trillion from the Saudis, well, that could be tough, frankly, at least in the short term, but their government could stretch that out over several years, maybe as far as a decade. But if people are betting against the president on getting that happening, I'd say they're probably crazy. He seems to be pretty good at this, guys.
First time we've started a show with My Heart Will Go on repeater from Celine Dion and Titanic, and we are watching Titanic movements right now. One, the total and complete sinking of the legacy of Joe Biden because it is in the dirt at this point. Total and complete humiliation. We're going to play you the differences between Donald Trump's magisterial arrival in Saudi Arabia versus Joe Biden being met by the interns and then insulted. It's amazing to watch. America is back, baby, is what we're trying to say. Today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Donald Trump is live in Saudi Arabia right now. Now, I haven't missed anything. He's like literally the other side of the world. Right now, President Trump is on his way to a speech, and we're going to be taking that speech live. President Trump has barely said a single word to the cameras, but there's been a lot of symbolism that has happened, and you can clearly tell that American magisterial might and power is freaking back, and it's awesome to see. We're going to take Trump's speech live when he does speak. He's en route. We'll play you all of that. And then also, great economic news today. Not only has Saudi Arabia announced $1 trillion in investment in America, but also inflation numbers have collapsed. Grocery prices have collapsed. Today's a big economic reporting day for the government bureau that reports such figures. And ladies and gentlemen, there is hysteria on the left over President Trump winning. Boy, we have a slam-packed show today. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene will be joining us. She had technical difficulties yesterday, so she's going to be on later in the second hour. Senator Eric Schmidt, one of the all-time favorites. What a complete brawler and boss. He's going to be on talking about some major corruption deals that are happening inside of the federal government. He's been exposing them. And Erica Donalds, soon to be First Lady of the state of Florida, will be joining this program as well. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Donald Trump is landing trillion-dollar deals. We'll show you that live. You should land economic security as well on my friends at American Financing and help you do just that. Debt doesn't just show up one day. It compounds little by little over time. And you look at your bills by the end of the day, and you're like, holy guacamole, right? We got some major problems here. People are crippled by credit card debt. It's something that cripples you for a long time, but homeowners can get out of it with my friends at American Financing. They're saving homeowners on an average of $800 per month. No judgment, no pressure, just real solutions and putting you back in charge. Imagine breathing again, sleeping again, and knowing that the future is yours to shape. It starts with just one call. It takes 10 minutes to get started. No upfront fees. You can lock it in today. Call American Financing today at 888-528-1219. Their finance, salary-based consultants are ready to listen and ready to help take back your peace of mind with American Financing. 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, massive financing today. We are ready to freaking rock. The differences are absolutely wild between what's happened with the Joe Biden and Donald Trump arrivals in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so I want to begin by saying our friend, Dan Scavino, who doesn't do any interviews, right? Dan Scavino never does interviews. We keep asking him, he doesn't. He's the voice of the president online and digitally. Played this morning. It's so freaking awesome. These are Saudi jets that are flanking Air Force One as Air Force One enters Saudi airspace. As soon as the Air Force One enters Saudi airspace, these kick-ass jets that we sold them, but either way are flown by Saudi pilots, lock in and look at that. It's like a Top Gun movie. You can see the pilot, you can see the Saudi pilot saluting Trump. That's how much respect there is for Trump. How cool is that? This is footage of Dan Scavino filming this from his phone out the window of Air Force One. How cool is this? And then, man, Donald Trump getting an absolute powerful arrival. And I want to begin by establishing a couple things. Do we have these Biden clips loaded? Because I want to talk through this, okay? So if not, then the ALX, grab me those Biden, kick them on over. I just need Biden's walking off the plane and then the MBS greeting. So when Biden showed up, of course, the Saudis decided to do something that we've never seen before, actually. They decided to disrespect America. Now, I'm not for that, right? I'm one of those guys who's just like, listen, it's my country, and regardless of who's in charge, you got to respect this place. But you got to look at it from the greater overall perspective. It's like the Saudis knew that Biden wasn't legitimate. That's the way that I look at it. It's almost less about America, and it's more about the person, Joe Biden. The person, Joe Biden, had attacked the leader of Saudi Arabia, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. His name's Mohammed bin Salman. And I'm not going to get into that, by the way. I'm never going to portend to be like, this is a foreign policy show, right? I'm going to name all the regions of Ukraine. I'm so smart. I don't care. I care about my kids in this country. I only have one passport, and it's to America. I'm going to live and die in this country, and hopefully my kids will live in the same town where my grave is as I plan on doing with my parents. It's this is my land. This is my country. We are a people. We're not an economic zone. And so I just care about America. So some people are going to be like, that's Saudi Arabia. The leader, he did all these bad things. Well, yeah, leaders do bad things day and night all across the world. I mean, it's like, like, again, I don't want to fund it. All right. I'm not being asked. Like, I'm not the cleric of Saudi Arabia. It's not my deal. Okay. This is my country. There's plenty of problems here for me to deal with. But Joe Biden kept meddling, right? And kept snipping. And the left, obviously, lost their minds on Saudi Arabia and did everything they could to undermine and undergird the American partnership there. So it's bad. I mean, that's just bad policy writ large. And overall, I think over all of that, I don't think they thought that Biden was legitimate. I think they thought that Biden stole the election from Trump. You don't know, you want to know what's up? That's what I think. And, we've said that on the show. And I think that world leaders disrespected Joe Biden for two reasons. One, because Joe Biden crapped his pants at Buckingham Palace. Absolute matter of fact. I have that in writing. We have the documents. We have the reports. According to the freaking Queen of England, Joe Biden let out a long, loud, wet fart in Buckingham Palace. It's been reported, okay? It's like, don't be upset. It's like, that's just what happened. Joe Biden crapped his pants. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually came on this program and told us that. we looked through the reports, and the rumor mill in England, the tabloids in England, picked it all up. Anyway, the point is that one, they didn't respect Joe Biden because he was a feeble, frail, embarrassing, cognitively broken leader who out this morning is Jake Tapper. Please grab that. I know it's in the productions chat. Jake Tapper's up on CNN this morning. He has a book coming out about Joe Biden and about the deceit of Joe Biden's administration. That the administration had a long conversation about how Joe Biden would be wheelchair bound in his second term. This is the big talk on CNN this morning, is that they were planning on shoving Joe Biden, human vegetable, into a wheelchair. That's how diseased Joe Biden was. So that's all the underlying thing. I don't view this as Saudi Arabia disrespecting America. I view it as Saudi Arabia disrespecting Joe Biden. Okay, so when Joe Biden left the plane, I'm going to do a compare and contrast here, all right? As we await President Trump speaking. Right now, the speech, right now there's just a holding screen. We haven't missed anything. The last thing we saw of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump hasn't spoken at all in this trip. The last thing we saw of Donald Trump, he was getting in a car on his way to a speech, okay? But, of course, when that speech is live, boom, we'll be rocking and rolling. Here's Joe Biden exiting Air Force One. This is in the year 2022. Producers, please check that for me. 2022. Thank you very much. So here's Joe Biden. And who is Joe Biden met by? This happens to be a local town mayor, okay? No members of the royal family. Saudi Arabia is a kingdom. This is a local town mayor and his interns. That's it. This is what Joe Biden gets met by. Look at that. An empty runway. Look at that freaking empty runway. Can we please, Killer Klein, go to how Donald Trump was welcomed to Saudi Arabia? See if you can spot the difference here in President Trump's arrival versus Joe Biden's arrival, shall we? There we go. We'll get some audio in there. That's fine. Let's let it go. So they fire cannons, and that is, of course, the king of Saudi Arabia, who never does this, by the way. His name is Mohammed bin Salman, who travels to Trump. Can we do the hand greeting again? Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a jump cut. That's fine. Maybe you guys find me the raw of this. But the king traveled to meet Trump on the tarmac with the entire royal family. So the entire royal court is there. There's probably 10,000 people currently on the tarmac greeting Trump. Please get me the raw of this. I don't want the Daily Mail spliced up version. Producers, grab it, lock it, load it. Thank you. Where was the king with Joe Biden's visit? Well, here we have the footage of Joe Biden being greeted by Mohammed bin Salman. Joe Biden had to travel an hour into Riyadh in his motorcade to greet Mohammed bin Salman via fist bump. They didn't even shake hands. So the king doesn't travel to go see Joe Biden at all. Joe Biden has to come to the king. And then when he gets there, The king doesn't even shake his hand. Here we go. Not it. Not it. No, no, no. Thank you. Biden handshake. Guys, Biden handshake. No, it's Biden arriving with Mohammed bin Salman. That's fine, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. We're just going to let it rip here. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is Joe Biden arriving at the palace, fist bumping. This is Joe Biden arriving at the palace, getting a fist bump from the king. Biden has to travel to the king, and then the king doesn't even shake his hand. This is disrespect of Joe Biden. This is the king saying he doesn't respect Joe Biden. Here we go. Let's do full Trump. And this is a good, this is a really good side by side here. Yeah. Before we play the full Trump, let's just show you the difference. Look at this. He doesn't even touch Joe Biden. And here's the king at the airport greeting Trump. All right, now we have the full. Thank you. So you can spot the difference here, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump getting a very special motorcade into the palace in Saudi Arabia, the horse motorcade. Never seen anything like it. Hope we see it again. So here's the horse motorcade with Saudi soldiers holding American flags. Oh yeah. I was like, can this be the way that Trump always travels? Can we get horse shoulders back with American flags, please? And thank you. So you'll notice that you'll notice that every member of the royal court, which is right here, has lined the street to welcome Donald Trump. Just ever so slight difference in the way that President Trump is treated versus Joe Biden. It's freaking epic video. All right. Here's one other final important thing is that as a compliment to President Trump and as to honor President Trump, they brought in a mobile McDonald's into Saudi Arabia. So here is the McDonald's semi-truck, halal, I'm sure, that has been brought in just for President Trump. All right. So this is going to be a just again a slight difference. We await President Trump speaking in Saudi Arabia. Here's what we've learned so far. Donald Trump has sat inside of the king's court, and he sat next to the king, and he had his entire administration with him. And Donald Trump has, been welcoming his administration to, into the court and introducing them right to the king. Elon Musk got a personal introduction into the king right here. Kick ass. There are big time tech leaders there. Sam Altman is there. The guy who runs NVIDIA. What's his name? The guy who runs NVIDIA? I can't remember what his name is. Jensen Huang. All right. Good pronunciation there, Klein. And Trump has not said any major words on camera. Again, it's been a lot of this. It's been a lot of quiet talking back and forth with administration officials. Elon Musk not doing his nod there. Donald Trump, though, the biggest leaders are here. A couple of takeaways from President Trump, looking to the camera and saying just like a sentence here or there. Here we go.
As you know, we have the biggest business leaders in the world here today, and they're going to walk away with a lot of checks for a lot of things that you're going to provide. And in the United States, it's probably 2 million jobs that we're talking about this visit. So, number one, I like visiting with you, and we've known each other very well, and I really believe we like each other a lot. And number two, for the United States, we've brought tremendous investment in and tremendous jobs, and we'll continue to service your great country very well.
All right. So these are like that's all that we've gotten. And Donald Trump got into a motorcade just moments ago. Here's that clip, and took off. President Trump's going to be giving a speech. What is the details of the speech? I know that the issue has been those bagpipes? I don't know. This is Donald Trump walking in to his motorcade. This just happened seconds ago. And President Trump now is on his way to a very big speech in Saudi Arabia. This is on his schedule. It's called it's an investment forum. President Trump all smiles, and quite a difference. Quite a difference. We have this pretty remarkable moment where America is clearly respected on the world stage again, and where the powers of the globe are sort of bending the knee to American dominance. You saw this happen in the trade deal yesterday with China. And now you're seeing it in Saudi Arabia, which is like, I think you could probably list Saudi Arabia as the oldest old world style kingdom that exists on earth right now. They really respect what President Trump has done. They respect a strong man. They respect a strong leader. They respect a man who, I mean, think about this. The entire world sees President Trump survive an assassin's bullet. The entire globe watches Donald Trump miss the bullet, right, and come back up and do the fight. Do you not think that that's going to take a land of royal fiefdom, like alpha masculinity, and say, well, hot damn, we better respect that guy? That's what's happening here right now. I view it as manifest destiny, divine providence. President Trump surviving the assassin's bullet remade the globe, remade the political landscape, and more importantly, showed that there is such a thing as alpha Americana left in our bloodstream. It's a good thing. It's what we were known for. It's what helped America topple some of the more evil regimes across the globe over the last 100 years. It's what's led to Pax Americana, an earth that is shaped and run by America, that is writ large a good thing. It's not something that we focus on here. Again, this is not a foreign policy show. We're not going to sit there and obsess over the minutia of every little country. I don't know all the regions of Ukraine. I can't name them. I can't even pronounce them. I don't care, honestly. Just leave us out of it. It's fundamentally not my business. My business is protecting this country. And clearly world leaders respond to that when they see Donald Trump protecting his country. So here's President Trump signing a $600 billion deal. We're going to give you the details of that here in a moment. The White House breaking down what's inside of the bill. So President Trump did a bill signing, and then he did sort of like a sitting, kind of like a sitting in the royal courts. Give me some of that royal court footage, shall we? I saw plenty of that in my feed this morning. Trump hasn't really said anything on camera. This is going to be his first time talking on camera at this major investment forum that we're going to take live. Trump hasn't really said anything. He has done things, though, and here's President Trump signing that $600 billion deal. So what is in the deal? What is the deal? I'm going to read to you from the White House as you can watch here the signing. There we go. President Trump secures historic $600 billion investment commitment from Saudi Arabia. This is Mohammed bin Salman, MBS as he is lovingly known. Trump signs his portion, and then they've brought it over to the Saudi king, and he signs his portion. Where Saudi Arabia does trillions of dollars in business with America. President Trump is over there to secure strategic partnerships and then American investment. Now that's Trump's cabinet. So Trump's brought his cabinet, and you can see some. All right. Hop on over to the White House here, and go ahead and see what is inside of that deal. Oh, that's an epic shot. Pop that up. Look at that one. Jeez, that's great. Some quick snaps from what it's looked like so far. Again, this meeting is ongoing. All of this happened seconds ago. President Trump hasn't really spoken. But guys, get me Trump saying that this is a $2 trillion. Trump did say this is a $2 trillion visit, right? Get me that. I know, like, go cruise through the rapid response. Klein, please pull up the White House rapid response too when we get a second. But look at that. That's great. What an awesome shot. Look at that. The king. Here's what's really important. And again, I'm never going to lie to you ever. I will never tell you that I'm some type of smug global affairs, foreign policy diplomat, all right? I'm not. I care about my country. I care about the place I'm going to raise my children. This is the only passport I own. My great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather built cabins on this land. It's my land. It's our country. The end. The point is that I did do a little bit of reading because we were prepared. We're trying to prepare for this. Turns out that the king never greets foreign diplomats in Saudi Arabia. That the entire world is shocked by this. What a beautiful photo. Look at that. But also, look at President Trump's hair is saluting in that photo as well. It's an amazing thing that can happen with the president. Quite a talent. What a shot. The king, okay, here's what I learned reading Foreign Policy magazine. The king doesn't greet foreign leaders in Saudi Arabia. They make a strategic choice. But the rule is that when you are in the kingdom, that obviously you go to the king because you're on my property, right? You're in my kingdom. This is the rule of a kingdom. The king went to go meet Trump. This is really unique. And really, it's profound, and it says something about America's stature in the world and about how leaders respect Trump. Again, I repeat, the rule diplomatically in Saudi Arabia, the royal rule, is that leaders of foreign lands come to the king to pay respect because they're in Saudi Arabia. Okay? Maybe it's different if MBS comes to England or to France or to America or to Canada or whatever. But when you're there, you're the serf, okay? You are below the king, except for here, which is wild. Look at this. Look at how much these guys love each other. Do we have that funny clip of them like bumping shoulders and like laughing and howling? Oh, it's good. No, it's in the chat, Klein. Yeah, I saw it in the chat. Where's that funny clip of what's the funny clip of the two of them going on? It might have been from the last visit. I'm not sure, but it's Trump. There it is, right there. This is great. You just pop that tweet up. You guys will love this. Shouldn't you want this as a country? Shouldn't you want this as Americans? These two guys, like, look at these two guys, like they're like howling, they're bumping shoulders, howling, and laughing with each other. This is what you should want. This is what creates a strong country and a strong nation. The tweet, please. There you go. He's having just a great time. They're having just a great time. We have another angle of Trump's arrival. It's pretty impressive here. It shows like the full military regalia. This right here. This is how Donald Trump was greeted with the Star Spangled Banner when he arrived. This is President Trump. He gets out of his vehicle. He gets that kick-ass horse escort with all Saudi horsemen holding the American flags. And then they arrive here, and Donald Trump gets the Star-Spangled Banner played for him. Let's listen. There he is with the king. The entire Saudi royal court is there. The entire court. It's good to see America respected again. We are rocking, ladies and gentlemen, and rolling. We have a couple more like little snippets of what's happened with President Trump here in Saudi Arabia. And oh yeah, okay. That's the bro moment I was thinking of. That's the bro moment I was thinking of. Pop this up, please. You have that? This is okay. All right. This is from the OG, and we have. Yeah. So you're not allowed to touch the king. This was at a world leaders summit. And as you can see here, President Trump walk by and pat him on the shoulder, right? Boom. Just play the music, Klein. Just play. And he's laughing. You can see him smiling. He loves it. You're not allowed to touch the king. The two are great. I mean, it's great. It's great. This is such a good. The difference. Okay, this final thing. I know I've dogged on Biden for a little bit. We're gonna get to some of the breaking Biden news in just a second, but just the final like iconography of all of this is really something else. Look at that. Look how far away they stayed away from Biden. Like they like it's like he is diseased, and they were right, by the way. They were right. Okay. Some of the breaking news. Let's go through this rapid response because this is the direct White House feed, so to speak, of like what's going on inside of these meetings, right? More than we can assess ourselves from just the videos. Okay, so starting here, Donald Trump has departed the royal court following the official state visit from MBS. Trump now heads to the International Conference Center for U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum, where he will be speaking live for the first time. Unless we have do we have that clip of Trump saying there's a $2 trillion visit?
I'm not sure if that was the correct thing. 2 million jobs they're talking about.
Yeah, pop it up.
We played this clip.
This the same one?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Each other a lot. And number two, for the United States, we've brought tremendous investment in and tremendous jobs, and we'll continue to service your great country very well. As you know, we have the biggest business leaders in the world here today, and they're going to walk away with a lot of checks for a lot of things that you're going to provide. And in the United States, it's probably 2 million jobs that we're talking about this visit. So, number one, I like visiting with you, and we've known each other very well, and I really believe we like each other a lot. And number two, for the United States, we've brought tremendous investment in and tremendous jobs, and we'll continue to service your great country very well.
Probably 2 million jobs we're talking about this visit. I love how Donald Trump measures his time and how much investment and how many jobs it will create for this country. What a freaking alpha. What a freaking baller. Okay, here we go. Energy Secretary Wright. So the Energy Secretary is there. Pete Hegseth is there also. Do we have that Pete Hegseth photo? It's pretty badass. Yeah, grab me that. Thank you. Here's Pete Hegseth, an absolute favorite of our show, shaking hands with the King of Saudi Arabia. Susie Wiles as well. She's the White House Chief of Staff. Some call her the Ice Queen. Here she is also. Well, she's not shake. I don't know. Did she shake hands? I'm not sure. Are they allowed to shake hands? Of women? I don't know. That I don't know. I'm not sitting here pretending to be some type of foreign policy expert. I don't know. But anyway, it looks like a very cordial greeting. That's the point. Energy Secretary accepts memo of understanding between U.S. Ministry of Energy and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and U.S. Department of Energy in cooperation with the field of energy. So then this is what they do. This is what we've missed, right? Is these sort of like palace royal court back and forth with the various heads of their governments, right? So here you have the heads of energy. This is Secretary Wright. Yeah, there's no audio with this. And a lot of the stuff, as we've been watching this feed, a lot of the stuff is like quiet whispering, which is what's considered respectful inside of the court, this court. Very little has been said to the media. But yeah, this is the formalities that you get. Secretary of Defense accepts a letter of intent between the Ministry of Defense of Saudi Arabia and the U.S. Department of Defense regarding the modernization and development of the capabilities of the Saudi armed forces. What I like about this shot is you can see here, you see Marco Rubio's there. Scott Bessent is there. Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of State, respectively. You know that. Howard Lutnick is there. Secretary of Energy Wright is there. And then there's Susie Wiles sitting right there. I'm not sure who else is in the delegation. I think ALX had a list. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're getting a full list. I saw Sam Altman there. He's the head of ChatGPT. That was kind of interesting. So, yeah, all right. They've misspelled Elon's name. Got it. All right. Stephen Schwarzman, CEO of Blackstone. Larry Fink, Blackstone. Jenny Johnson. We were so close. We were so close. There was a time when Donald Trump shouted out Benny Johnson, but he meant Benny Thompson from the J6 committee. He called me a criminal. I'm not a criminal. We have this directly. We have it directly from the White House. He meant Benny Thompson. But yes, Donald Trump did call me a criminal from the Oval Office. Okay, so Jenny Johnson there, very sad. We were so close, Klein. We were so close. We were almost on the list. All right. The CEO of IBM. You don't know these names. You just know. So you know these companies. IBM, Citicorp, Northern Trust, Boeing, Google, Amazon, 16AZ, general partner, OpenAI. So there's Sam Altman. You know the NVIDIA, the head of CEO of NVIDIA is pretty famous. Jensen Huang. Alex Karp, he's Palantir. And then you have Baker Hughes, Halliburton, Schlumberger. Okay, now it's starting to get into like, obviously things. So you have like ex-Uber founder. Okay, that's very interesting. Right? And then a bunch of... Really? Fortnite. Okay. Northrop Grumman, Coca-Cola. You know some of these, obviously. Uber Technologies. The mayor of Miami is there. That's fascinating. What's that about? That's interesting. We know that guy. Francis Suarez. We sat right next to him at UFC the other day in Miami. That's unique. Okay. All right. And the rest of the list there. CEO of Iron Mountain. Not sure what that... Cool. See, Iron Mountain, is that those the underground caves where they keep all the federal retirement documents? The libs on tricycles. Co-founder and executive chairman of LinkedIn. Reid Hoffman's there? No. Epstein list Reid Hoffman is there? Dude, seriously. Reid Hoffman? This is insane. Wait, really? Okay. Here's why this is crazy. Please pull up a photo of Reid Hoffman. So not only is Reid Hoffman on the Epstein list and like traveled a million times to Epstein Island, is like a sick, disgusting, fat degenerate, right? But Reid Hoffman is also the man who funded all of the lawfare against Donald Trump. Do you understand that Reid Hoffman funded the psychopaths, like pretty much all of the New York lawfare against President Trump was brought by Reid Hoffman. He underwrote all of it. Who's the dingbat? Producers, help me out here. Who's the dingbat that like says, Donald Trump, he raped me? Who is that? She's so irrelevant, I've completely forgotten her name. E. Jean Carroll, thank you. Like, she's literally cuckoo pants, banana brains, sociopath, E. Jean Carroll. Get me that. Reid Hoffman funded her entire lawsuit against Donald Trump. What's going on here? This is fascinating. This is like the biggest, this guy's such a slob. Reid Hoffman is on camera saying he wished that Trump died in the assassination in Butler. He's on camera saying that. He said it to Peter Thiel. There's articles about this. You guys can grab a couple of them. But yeah, this is blowing my mind. The magnanimity of President Trump right now is incredible. Every person that we have on the show that's like inside of the orbit, heads of government agencies and members of the Trump administration, they come on the show and they tell us something, which is wild. They tell us the same thing that Dana White told us the other day backstage. That Donald Trump is in this like mood where he is world conquering, where it is about like bringing into the fold, bringing under his umbrella of influence, his greatest enemies. And that's why you've seen like the Bill Maher dinner at the White House. Bill Maher, who's done a 180 on President Trump, did a slobbering love letter to President Trump after he visited Trump at the White House. You won't find, not even Reid Hoffman, you won't find anybody with a bigger platform that was more of a Trump deranged sociopath. It's like President Trump is taking all of the, remember in a war, you can't just win a war by fighting with your own side. You have to win a war by deteriorating and destroying the weapons of the enemy. That's how you ultimately win. If you just fight with the same weapons, if both teams are just fighting with the same weapons, you'll end in a stalemate. It'll be World War I. You have to take from the enemy, take resources from the enemy, steal their weapons, steal their energy, steal their power. Is this what President Trump is doing? Look at some of these articles. Reid Hoffman funded E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit against Trump. Reid Hoffman is a man who has openly quipped that he wanted to kill Trump. LinkedIn founder clarifies quip, wishing he'd made Trump a martyr. This man is traveling with Trump on Air Force One? Guys, this is insane levels of magnanimity, I suppose. If you just want to call it, you want to call it something, call it that. Thank you to our producers for like getting all this very quickly. I wasn't planning on seeing this. Guys, I think that I would be less shocked if I saw Bill Clinton on the manifest. I'd be less shocked if I saw Barack Obama on the manifest. You remember Trump, Obama? Chatting it up, broing it up, laughing. Can you get me that VO? Can you get me the AI lip sync of what they were saying? I know it'll take a second to find it, but it's just too good. It's like this insight into who President Trump is behind the scenes. Bill Maher did an entire monologue about all of it. The same thing. Bill Maher's monologue was like, I love Trump. I hate the media image of Trump. What the media turned Trump into, I hate that. And then I met Trump and I love him. That's Bill Maher's entire monologue distilled. He's like, Trump asked me questions about policy. He was so nice to me. He gave me a tour. Bill Maher goes, I've given tens of millions of dollars to Democrats, and I've never gotten a tour of the White House. Donald Trump, the man who I've spent the last decade trying to destroy him, gave me a tour of the White House. It's incredible. You can see the value here. Sam Altman is also there in the group. Sam Altman, according to multiple reports and some braggadocious tweets, Sam Altman donated a fortune to stop President Trump from winning in 2020, to steal the election. Sam Altman is a really smart guy. People call him Scam Altman because he scammed Elon Musk out of a lot of money. But anyway, it's wild. Look at this. Reid Hoffman. This is from Cernovich. This is the one that we have up, if you don't mind. And hey, guys, I want the lip reader, please. I want the AI lip reader. Thank you. Okay, we're going to have to go back and find it. I know we've covered it a million times, but I need the actual lip reading because there's an AI. They went through, speaking of Sam Altman, they went through and they mapped the lips of Donald Trump and Barack Obama, and they were able to replace their voices with AI, and you're able to hear what Trump is saying to Obama. I'm telling you, as a matter of fact and principle, I would be less shocked if the manifest said Barack Hussein Obama. Maybe there's probably plenty of Husseins in Saudi Arabia. There's more reason For me, there's reason for me to be less shocked about that than there is this. Reid Hoffman said, "I wish I had made Trump an actual martyr." Meaning, Reid Hoffman is a man who was trying to kill Trump. Reid Hoffman funded lawsuits against Fox News. These Smartmatic and Dominion lawsuits were funded by Reid Hoffman. Fox News had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars because of Reid Hoffman attempting to destroy. Here's a scalp. You want to know what a scumbag this guy is? What a piece of garbage he is? And here's Reid Hoffman funding E. Jean Carroll. Sorry, I'm just going to... Just give me one more minute on this, okay? And then I'll stop. Jeez. Reid Hoffman destroyed Tucker Carlson's career. The lawsuit against Fox News got all of Tucker's texts and emails and stuff. That went into discovery. Then that gets leaked to the New York Times. And Tucker Carlson, like anybody, is just like talking smack about anybody and everyone, including people, his bosses at Fox. That gets leaked to the New York Times. That gets Tucker fired. Reid Hoffman was responsible for that lawsuit. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman considering leaving U.S. after Trump victory. This is how effed this guy knew he was. He was also on the Epstein list. Here's Elon Musk talking about Reid Hoffman to Tucker Carlson, the guy who Reid Hoffman, in part, I think, got fired. I'm not sure we could say it like it's one for one, but the lawsuits that Reid Hoffman funded were directly responsible for many of our friends and many of the people that we know and loved, Bongino's one of them too, getting fired from Fox. This guy is like he's the not only the opposite of a President Trump friend, he's a true blackened enemy of Donald Trump. And now he's with Trump in Saudi Arabia, flying no doubt on Air Force One with Trump in Saudi Arabia. What meetings are happening there? This is crazy. This blows the Bill Maher thing out of the water. I can't believe this. Elon Musk on how evil Reid Hoffman is and why Reid Hoffman should be in jail for what he did on Epstein's Island.
Part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation. Like something might actually, the DOJ might actually move forward.
There are a lot of videos, apparently. Those rooms on the island, and I think out in New Mexico, were wired for video.
Right.
And
where's the video? I mean, between Diddy and Epstein, there's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that the people on those videos are lecturing the rest of us about our moral failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
What is that?
Well, I mean, part of how they deflect attention from themselves is by, criticizing the morals of others.
Yes.
So it's sort of like a preemptive moral strike.
Yes.
I mean, as I said, I think those who are saying Trump is a threat to democracy are themselves actually the threat to democracy.
It feels like we're getting to a place where the rest of us know too much. Is this? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's easier to live in a society where you don't really know what the people in charge are doing or why they're doing it. But now, thanks, I would say, largely to X.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say that.
Yeah.
We do know a lot. Not everything, but we know a lot. And I wonder, where does that, like, what happens next now that we know all this? The kidnapper's shown us his face. Like, what happens?
Well, I think if Trump wins, we can do some house cleaning and shed light on things.
Okay. So that's who Reid Hoffman was. Reid Hoffman's so evil and so degenerate, clearly Tucker Carlson knew that it was Reid Hoffman funding the lawsuits against Fox News. That's why he's asking those questions and like digging down into who this man really is. And they're both talking about, well, how scared he is that all the videos will be released of Epstein Island. Maybe that's why Reid Hoffman is on this plane. Either way, I am obviously stunned that it's Reid Hoffman on that plane. Like, wait, good for you. Good for you. Okay, as promised, here's President Trump lip reading with Barack Obama. This is wild. This shows you sort of the attitude. Again, some of it's been live on the show, some of it's been behind the scenes. But we speak with Trump cabinet secretaries and officials, and the world's gotten really small, I mean, quite frankly, around here. And people who just know President Trump personally. And I don't pretend to tell you that I'm like Donald Trump's best friend. I don't have his cell phone number, okay? Some people do. But we do talk to those people, and what they all tell us is that Donald Trump is in a empire building mode. That's an exact production of words that were described to us by one of Trump's closest friends. Let's just call it that. Somebody who's literally bros with Donald Trump. Empire building mode means taking from your enemy and making your enemy's greatest weapons yours, and then using them against them. Like a Bill Maher. Like maybe a Reid Hoffman. Elon Musk was a big-time Barack Obama guy. Elon Musk loved Obama. He says he voted for Obama. He supported Obama. He's the richest man in the world. So that list on the road, that list of people that are traveling to Saudi Arabia right now, it's wild. And like take that and understand that what like Donald Trump is doing is reinforcing and destroying his true enemy. Because his true enemy, the deep state, uses people like Obama and Reid Hoffman and Elon Musk and foreign powers. They use them in order to kill Donald Trump. They can kill him through impeachments. They can kill him through listening in on his phone calls with Ukraine. They can kill him, obviously, from the inside. They can kill him from the outside. The more weapons you take away from them, the more power you delete and deplete from them. Like Sam Altman's on the list. Can you give me that Sam Altman tweet, ALX? I know you got it because I know Elon's put it up a couple times. Where Sam Altman's bragging about how much money he paid to stop Donald Trump in 2020. And you know what that means, right? To stop Trump, right? To install Joe Biden illegitimately. Anyway, it's crazy. That list includes a number of people who are Donald Trump's arch enemies that are flying on Air Force One with Trump to Saudi Arabia and will be at these big dinners with him, will be at these big conferences with him. And man, it's just wild. Okay, now I'm sorry, I've talked over this clip. Enough. I will play this clip every chance I get. Donald Trump and Barack Obama. What did they say to each other at Jimmy Carter's funeral? It's worth watching because it's worth like understanding the dynamics at play here. Trump invites Obama golfing, right? That's like this is a vibe. This is aura. Go.
Well, Mr. President,
for a second time. Barack, very nice to see you.
congratulations. How you doing?
I'm a lot better, Dad.
Hell, I bet knew you'd win.
Oh, really? Oh, come on. Anyone could beat her.
Kidding
She's
me?
just...
I was just as appalled. You know what happened? He just didn't want to leave.
I know.
Is what happened. I did what I could to help her. She was horrendous.
I know. You know what I realized? Hillary still hates me. So much. I know. She'll never forget me. We should meet to discuss
I
that.
think so too. We can definitely set something up. Let me know whatever
Oh, the
works
golf?
best for you.
I was gonna fly back to Florida tomorrow for the golf.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing that we don't know. We don't know what was so urgent that they needed to meet about it. Lip readers say that there was such an urgent issue that Obama and Trump had a secret meeting that day. As far as I know, we still don't know exactly what that was about. What was that exactly? To have something to do with what we're learning about Joe Biden today? We're going to get into that in just a second. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are awaiting President Trump. He will be speaking in Saudi Arabia, and it will be live. Saudi Arabia is a very tight-knit kingdom. Okay, we're getting some audio now, potentially, of the
For
actual
the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and power up the region and the whole
Yeah.
world with robotics, but also on robo-taxis. So how are we doing on robo-taxis?
Yeah, so really you can think of a car or future cars as being robots on four wheels. And,
so.
you know, I think it would be very exciting to
So let's
have
pause.
autonomous vehicles here in the kingdom.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. This is the holding screen. It's very weird. So this is the holding screen. We finally have the actual. Like. Okay. So this is Elon Musk, the pair of cowboy boots,
Yeah.
on stage, right?
He has another announcement that he's
Yes,
going to share later.
exactly. So, and I'd also like to thank the kingdom for approving Starlink for maritime and aviation use. Thank you.
Maritime and aviation. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So yeah. So I
You're
think-
going to bring us robots to help us increase our productivity.
Yeah.
Robo-taxis to make sure that our cars and assets turn into a cash-generating unit.
Yeah.
And Starlink to reform our aviation and maritime.
Yeah.
Talk about XAI.
Absolutely. But I should mention also something that may be worth considering is tunnels.
Tunnels. The Boring Company.
I have this company called The Boring Company, which sounds kind of boring, but it literally bores tunnels. And actually, tunnels, in order to solve traffic, you really need to go 3D with roads. And by using tunnels, you can essentially create like a wormhole, like a warp tunnel from one part of a city to another and alleviate traffic. And we've actually already done this proof of concept in Vegas. So there are working tunnels in Las Vegas that you can use where that'll just, it feels like teleporting from one part of Vegas to another. So I always say that, my joke is like tunnels are underappreciated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the conference that's going on. Just wanting to tease this out. President Trump will be. Hopefully, they fix the lighting too, because it looks like they are aquamarine right here. But President Trump will be speaking at this conference.
General purpose artificial intelligence.
President Trump will be speaking at this conference soon. This is Elon commenting. This is a live interview with Elon. This just started. This is where President Trump will be addressing all of the leaders that are there inside of this massive Saudi Arabia investment conference. What is the let's use Chat GPT. What is the GDP of Saudi Arabia? How much money does Saudi Arabia spend in America? Let's figure that out, ladies and gentlemen. So this is again this is the conference that is expecting President Trump at any moment. President Trump is in the building, according to his own according to the security detail and the press pool reports. President Trump is in the building and will be speaking here soon. So the conference just kicked off. There was like a funny flag waving holding screen, and this is what's going down. 1.85 trillion is the GDP of Saudi Arabia. What's the trade partnership between America and Saudi Arabia? There we go. Now they finally got it fixed. That's a good one. All right, now we finally got a crisp. I don't know what this funny little what is that feed? I don't know. There we go. That's nice. Okay, fantastic. All right, much better audio. Okay, now you can sort of see the vibe and the full. Yeah, let's take this for just a little bit. I love Elon. Let's listen to
Partnership
Elon.
about how we could join hands together, as we have joined hands in the past 92 years, on building a factor-based economy to help the world and power up 20% of the energy mix, which is very critical today to the AI intelligence age, the digital age, and how we have reform, and with the intelligent age. And we could not be more appreciative of having a lifetime partner and a friend like you, Elon, to the kingdom.
Thank you.
Joining hands on XAI, Starlink, and robotics and Tesla. Thank you so much on behalf of the whole
Thank you.
kingdom, and we look forward to continue the partnership. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Please.
All right.
Okay, well, let's pop that shot back up. Oh well, there it goes. Okay, all right. So this is what Trump will be speaking at. You can see there President Trump's dais. You can see the presidential dais up there. And President Trump, I'm not sure if the presidential seal is on it. That's how you know that the president is inbound. This is the conference that Trump will be at. And you just heard Elon Musk there speaking. And we apologize that we none of the schedule, we'll pop up what the schedule looks like. Like none of the schedule gives us any major details on this. We're hunting with you. We're hunting with you to get the best coverage. And I assure you, we have the best producers on the internet getting you the best coverage. We'll be getting you a nice, crisp, and clean feed of the president who looks inbound because he has his podium on stage. You have the presidential podium up there on stage, and Elon just split. So we apologize. We don't have the full Elon comments, but ALX, if you wouldn't mind, if there's anything like that Elon said that was particularly noteworthy, it's just they started the feed and Elon wasn't even on screen. You could hear Elon talking, but he wasn't even on screen. They still had a holding screen. They didn't have their shots right, and it took them a hot second to get an actual crisp, clean shot. So anyway, it is what it is. We won't let you miss anything, and we got if Elon said anything of note, we'll make sure that we pop that up. All that we get on the daily guidance is stuff like this. We'll show you. We'll show you what we're working with. This is the Trump daily guidance stuff, right? The president participates in Saudi-U.S. investment forum. That's all we have, right? President arrives at the International Conference Center. President departs the International Conference Center. The president arrives at the Ritz-Carlton, Riyadh. The president departs the Ritz-Carlton, Riyadh en route to a name I can't pronounce. The president arrives. The president participates in a Saudi state dinner. The president participates in a Saudi state dinner. We know what that means. We know what that means. We're going to get the Trump sword dance again. We're going to get the Trump, hey. Trump sword dance. Let's go. This is what happened last time. It was so famous. This is like the famous clip. We will get more of this tonight. Donald Trump dancing with the swords. We have images of Trump holding a sword. There he is. Here's Trump with the sword. Incredible things are happening. Incredible things are happening. I know that we have a good image of Trump with the sword. Can we please grab one of those? We're going to get more of this tonight. And so many memes will be created out of this. Are you excited about that? So many memes will be created. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage, you can see here are all the American investment leaders with their Saudi counterparts. So that's what's happening on stage right now. There you go. And so we would assume that President Trump, if they have all these powerful people on stage, we assume that President Trump would be out soon. We have a lot to cover today on the show, so I definitely want to get to this Biden block. But why don't we, here's Trump with the source. Here's what we will be getting tonight. Come on. This will be President Trump tonight at the Saudi state dinner. This is Donald Trump with the royal family of Saudi Arabia, and he's holding a sword. Please, God, more of this. Please, God, more of this. President Trump's been practicing, by the way. Donald Trump did hold a massive sword during the inauguration ball. President Trump was at an inauguration ball for the armed services and decided to dance and hold a sword. This is Donald Trump dancing with a sword here in America. And this is Donald Trump cutting a large cake with a massive sword. Well, good find. Good find, producers. Well done. Look at that. You think Trump's in a good mood? I still can't believe Reid Hoffman's there. If Donald Trump takes Reid Hoffman off the board, and if Reid Hoffman becomes then MAGA, or starts funding our side, dude, Steve. Okay, so you have Sam Altman, you have Tim Cook and Jeff Bezos who were there at Donald Trump's inauguration. You have Mark Zuckerberg, who's now gone small M MAGA. We wait to see the full results of all of this, but we'll just say that internally, I don't know, what would you say, Ashley? What would you say, Danny? Is Facebook back? We'll see. We haven't seen our properties on Meta return to full force. They put their boot on the back of our necks and all but killed like all of our reach and all of our ability to publish, to reach you. But it's being revived, I think, is what the amazing Ashley, who helps us manage our Facebook audiences here at the company. Okay, it's being revived. All right, well, we're working on it. We're gonna take it at face value. But then you're gonna add Reid Hoffman to that mix, Sam Altman, Reid Hoffman, and Elon Musk, who are all like last year Democrats, and now they're all gonna be on Trump's team, plus Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, who's in charge of Google. It's freaking crazy, man. It's crazy. You can follow us on Facebook. You can grab the Facebook and just pop it up. Grab the Facebook and pop it up. If you aren't following us on Facebook and you use the platform, we'll show you where to follow. We're going to give it a good old-fashioned try, right? We're going to give it a good old-fashioned try. These scumbags, I mean, I had a Facebook executive on the call, so they called the bigger creators, and they like, oh, we thought we. Man, I let them have it. I tried to be like a glass half full, like silver linings kind of guy, but man, I was angry. I was pissed. Because they destroyed us, and what they were trying to do is to gut our ability to hire these young creative, the incredible team that's been here at the Benny Show. They were trying to get us to fire everyone so that we couldn't do the show. Like the way that we're able, I guess, just a quick self-referential thing. We had 100,000 concurrents yesterday live. We were according to the list, we were like one of the top live streamers in the world, and we're profoundly thankful. If I could stop and thank every single one of you myself, I could. If it was physically capable, I was physically capable to personally come and thank every one of you. I would. We just started streaming. We started streaming in 2022, and we were streaming to 100 people. And yesterday we had 100,000. And so you'll never find a team more appreciative and more profoundly centered on God has a plan. And we were able to survive through like these apocalypses that were intended to, and they've said this, intended to get us to just like close up shop. And many people did. Fire all of the like good people that work here because we just there's just no way to do the show anymore. Right? And we haven't sold out. We haven't sold the company to BlackRock like they all do, like everyone does. Oh, we've sold out to BlackRock. Well, then you can keep your staff. But like we haven't. So we have to actually like make content and make a channel that works from a productivity standpoint and from a can we pay our salary standpoint. And the purpose of ripping away the Facebook page and all these audiences from conservative creators is to destroy that so that there's no alternative, no independent media. You can see here, according to the list, we were number 3 yesterday. And you just won't find anybody that's more profound. We're just profoundly appreciative and thankful. If I could physically thank every single one of you, like, and shake your hand or give you a hug, I would. When I get a chance to meet you, I do. But anyway, we're just thankful for this. And what it drives home is that we're angry at Facebook because they tried to destroy this. We would have never been able to ramp up this way if we had gutted all of our staff, if we didn't have the internal fortitude and the know-how and the creative power to bulldoze through this and to build this kick-ass team that exists here. And so we just thank you for supporting us through it all. And here we are, all right? And we wait President Trump's speech in moments now from Saudi Arabia, the first time that Donald Trump has spoken on camera. He's said a few comments, and that's it. He said a sentence here or there, never to the press, only on like a pool feed. So this will be Donald Trump's actual speech from Saudi Arabia before his sword dance. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Moving along to Joe Biden and why Joe Biden was so flatly and roundly disrespected in Saudi Arabia. Because again, as we covered at the top of the show, they didn't think that Joe Biden was legitimate. They didn't think that he was a legitimate president. They didn't greet him at the airport. They sent interns to go get him at the airport. They sent a local mayor to go to the airport and say hello to him. And now it's coming out exactly how bad things were. We didn't know how bad things had gotten. And my heavens. Do you know they were planning on putting Joe Biden in a wheelchair? That's how bad it was? Goodness gracious. Before we get into that, and before we get to President Trump's speech. Oh, that's awesome. Let's go. Hold on. Something awesome's happening. Look at that. Yes. The alpha arrival of Donald Trump. This is live. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Just got to take it. This is live. This is the magisterial arrival of President Trump at the event. So cool. Thank you for having this up. You should see Killer Klein's setup. I'll post it later today. Like a wall of screens. And there it is. We have every possible feed, every conceivable feed up to make sure that you get brought along with us on these events and at these moments. We want you to live there. Here it is. Do we have any sound on this? There's no sound? Okay. Okay. There's no microphones here, so we're not missing any. You're not missing any music or anything. It's just the shot of Donald Trump. Let's go big. Sweet. This is the beast. And there's Mohammed bin Salman. Is that MBS? I think it is. There's the king greeting President Trump once more. Those sort of famous purple red carpets. And there's the president. The man himself walking in. Here we go. Here comes some music. Oh, this is our music. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. No. Okay, we're getting some audio. This is President Trump live. Yep, this is President Trump live walking in to this palace. It's like a palace conference center, they call it. Again, no audio on this, sadly. They're not lobbed or mic'd up for a reason, obviously, but this is a cool shot. This is a neat shot, man. This is awesome. This is from internal Saudi Arabia news. This is how good our production team is. Who follows Saudi Arabian news YouTube channels? It's crazy. ALX, please confirm there's no audio here. Nothing? No. Okay. Okay. There's no audio. There's no audio associated here. Here's President Trump. He has his speech, handing maybe his speech off to Walt Nauta. That's his. That's one of President Trump's more famous aides. And here they are walking through. There's a photo of Reagan. Here's a photo of U.S. presidents. There's some U.S. presidents. Okay, Klein, this is great, man. If you can catch one with audio, that'd be awesome. But unfortunately, we have a number of feeds now that are popping up. Some of them are broken. Here are U.S. presidents in Saudi Arabia. This is Donald Trump seeing presidents. How cool is this? How cool is this to get this behind-the-scenes shots, man? This is awesome. Big images on the wall. I think that one right there is Donald Trump. Big photo of Trump on the wall. And they know how to do it, man. And here's Donald Trump walking again with the King of Saudi Arabia. They're walking through this palace conference. It's called a palace conference center. Something we definitely do not have here in the States. And this is Donald Trump walking with the king through the palace, through the palace conference center. And they're taking a couple of pausing. They're pausing for a few moments to check out some what looks like maybe some new investment opportunities. This is called the Saudi Investment Forum. They're pausing perhaps to check out some tech. We're not exactly sure. It looks like they're just looking at us in the box on the corner. Look, hey, hi, this is me. What's up? Give me a sword. Can I have a sword? Please. That's what they're looking at. They're chilling out. All right. Maybe we have some audio. Okay. Yeah. Oh, but on this now we picked up just a teeny bit of audio. You hear some white noise.
The journey brings the distinguished leaders to the Prosperity Hall, a celebration of enterprise and partnership. Here we have Saudi and American companies stand side by side, showcasing opportunity and innovation.
Let's do some comments, shall we?
Prosperity redefined.
We love you
ladies
guys.
and gentlemen.
Lock it in the chat. Do some comments.
We have His Excellency Yasser Mayan, the Governor of PIF, His Excellency Khalid Al-Faleh, Minister of Investment, and Engineer Amin al-Nasser, CEO of Aramco. They're standing now in front of Aramco's booth, taking the tour in the Prosperity Hall. As we mentioned, it's a celebration of enterprise and partnership, showcasing untapped opportunities and innovation. Here we have Jerry Anzarello. This is the master plan for Adra'iyah, city of the land, birthplace of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
It's kind of cool to like listen to the narration, right? Like the lady who's doing the announcing knows more than me, right? I don't know all these local officials or anything. It's pretty rad. Have you heard of The Line? Have you heard of The Line? It's called The Line. It's this big Saudi project to build this massive city in the desert. That's like glass, and it's in the shape of a line.
Here, we always say, and Jerry always reiterates, there is only one Diraya. The leaders are continuing the tour in the Prosperity Hall, where prosperity is really defined, making their way to the plenary hall. And for that, we have here, I think that's the master plan for New Murabba project. A project that's redefining urban design, planning, and development.
They should let me do the voiceovers on this stuff. It'd be way better. I'm trying to pat ourselves on the back, but like we could totally do like a different. We could totally do. I think we do it in a more entertaining way. Here, President Trump asks if we could add more gold. If we could put a massive golden Trump Tower in the middle of it, perhaps. Also, President Trump saying he will leave the country immediately if there isn't a massive golden Trump Tower.
This area, the Prosperity Hall, really reflects the grounding in collective growth, meaningful collaboration, and mutual ambitions. Now they're taking a look at the Red Sea Global. Here's the CEO, John Pagano, having a conversation with His Royal Highness, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Oh man, it's so awesome to hear him say it. The 45th and 47th President of the United States of America.
The Red Sea, global redefining regenerative tourism, locally, regionally, and globally.
Donald Trump just doing business, making deals, doing business and locking it down for the United States of America. This is Donald Trump just doing like alpha business, masculine, freaking locking it in for the country. Donald Trump said earlier today, this visit will create 2 million jobs in America.
As you can see, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished leaders are making their way to the plenary hall here as I ask you, all distinguished guests, to please rise for the entrance of His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
Should we do some Trump as your president? Some music? Let's freaking do it. We'll add our own music. How about that? We got our own music.
The future of MAGA is here. For Giotto Blow. This is Donald Trump is your president. 2024, we coming back. Joe Biden in the crowd taking naps. And his son Hunter doing crack. Call me what you want, but don't call me a Democrat. They wanna put him in jail, but I write him in even if he's in a cell. I write you in. Y'all need the dead. I'm still coming through your hood in my red hat.
Come on.
I might buy a MAGA chain, let me call my jeweler. I'm exposing all these rhinos like I'm Lord Loomer. We still don't have the manifesto from the trans shooter. Your girl like AOC, I want a girl like Brad Cooper. Woo! Real MAGA gang, you know how I rock. Trump train still going, no it ain't stop. We going up, but they want us to fall like Joe Biden. Trump 2024, ain't no other option. Hey, red wave coming, let them know it's on the way. Tell the liberals I ain't giving up my two-way. They pushing genders in these schools, first we gotta pray. Then after that we say, Donald Trump is your president.
Here in this spot, the Journey of Transformation Saudi Vision 2030 Gallery, the forward-looking space that brings to life the kingdom's national transformation. Here we see a full scoop of Saudi Vision 2030,
okay, sorry,
innovation at scale,
not our feed,
economic diversification, flourishing tourism, and expansive opportunities to explore.
This is the narrator for
now,
Saudi
ladies and gentlemen,
television.
please welcome His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump.
Here we go. Wow. Freaking cool. This is awesome. 100% live. We just watched him walk through the convention center. It's great music. Some John Williams. So awesome. Your comments will be on screen. Let your comments rip, baby. Your comments will be on screen. Beautiful. John Williams score. This is so awesome. The Kings. The Kings!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Royal Highness, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America,
Had to check
Mr.
notes.
Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, it's truly an honor to welcome you all to the Saudi-US Investment Forum here in the vibrant capital of Riyadh. I'm Mohammed Dakhil, a Saudi journalist and TV presenter, and it's my great pleasure to be here with you today as we experience a living expression of one of the most influential bilateral relationships in the modern world, the strategic partnership between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States of America. And today, here in this room, it manifests in a very tangible, dynamic form with 140 distinguished global speakers, 2,500 delegates in attendance with us today, 15 pivotal panel discussions and focused dialogues across very critical sectors. And at the center of this momentum are the strategic economic partnership agreements. Signed today, we're talking about 145 investment agreements totaling more than 300 billion US dollars. What a momentum, what a moment. Yes. Oh yes, this is really energetic. And we have with us the business leaders representing the strategic economic partnership agreements. To commemorate this moment, I'm deeply honored to welcome His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Welcome. Please join the business leaders representing the strategic economic partnership agreements for a memorable photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause and a deep appreciation for this moment and for our distinguished leaders.
So we have Larry Fink of BlackRock there, the head of NVIDIA, the head of multiple banks.
We witness this moment that reflects the trust and determination shared by two nations to move forward together. As you can see, the leaders at the center of this frame shaping the next
Trump with the
phase
thumbs up.
of prosperity for both nations, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States of America.
Nice.
And now, distinguished guests, I'm deeply and truly honored to welcome His Royal Highness, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to deliver his speech. Welcome, Your Royal Highness. The stage is yours. What a moment. What a moment.
Man, the energy. America is respected again. Gosh, the energy is great. Look at Hegseth. There's Pete here. Pete's right beside Trump, flanking Trump. Good for him.
فخامة الرئيس دونالد ترامب، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نرحب بكم اليوم في المملكة العربية السعودية في المنتدى الاستثماري السعودي الأمريكي، حيث تجمع بلدينا صديقين علاقة اقتصادية عميقة بدأت قبل 92 عام وتحديدا في عام
All right,
1933
ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys.
بتوقيع اتفاقية
We've got
امتياز
to either
التنقيب على
find
النفط في
something.
المملكة مع شركة ستاندرد أويل.
We've got to either find something that has a translation,
ونجتمع اليوم
a live
لتحقيق هذه
translation,
الشراكة الاستراتيجية
or we got to just
في مراحلها المختلفة من اقتصاد قائم على الموارد الطبيعية إلى
just gotta
اقتصاد
kill the,
مبني على تنويع مصادر الدخل
audio here. I
والمعرفة
mean, I love
والابتكار.
this. It's great.
لقد كانت استثمارات المشتركة إحدى أهم الركائز في علاقاتنا الاقتصادية.
Yeah, let's kill it. Thanks.
والاقتصاد
Let's
السعودي
just take the
حاليا
audio
أكبر
down.
اقتصاد
We're
في
just going to talk
المنطقة.
through it, okay? So here's what's going on. This is obviously the Crown Prince. I apologize for that. Thank you, chat. We do read the chat. Two quick corrections here. There's the Crown Prince. We're not trying to mute the guy. I think it's very interesting what he says to Donald Trump. And here you can see President Trump. They're live on screen. Now, they have little translator earpieces. Our producers are desperately searching right now for some type of live translation, right, during this. But we don't speak Arabic. So we, we're not going to be able to actually understand what he's saying. And we'd like to get captions on this. President Trump speaks next, okay? So here's what's most important. Trump speaks next after the Crown Prince. There is no audio translation. We're trying to find an audio translation. Trump speaks next after the Prince. So that's what we know. This is the Crown Prince. Now, I've been calling him the King. The comments, the chat, just to prove to you that we read the chat and that your chats are up on screen, and we're just going to carry through here until Donald Trump is up on screen. Yeah, I mean, listen, we have, all right, very interesting. We have a video editor named Nick who says he's half Arab. Nick, would you care to translate? Nick says no. Nick declines translation. But it looks like we do have potentially a translation feed. Hold on. We're getting a translation feed for you. Oh, okay. Let's hear. Let's listen. Because I'd like to hear what he's saying to Donald Trump.
Foreign investments. These include 200 companies that have their regional headquarters in the kingdom.
Okay.
The kingdom's Vision 2030 was able to achieve most of its targets. Okay. It is bringing about an unprecedented economic transformation that aims to diversify the economy and empower the private sector to be the main driver of growth in the largest economy in the region. Non-oil exports have increased $82 billion in 24. Additionally, over 2.4 million male and female citizens were employed. The unemployment rate fell to its lowest historical levels with the multiplication of women's contribution to the labor market. In conclusion, Mr. President, I am confident that today we will continue to build with you based on the foundations of these close partnership between our two countries. What we signed today is part of a greater ambition that invests the opportunities for cooperation and exchange of benefits. Mr. President, our joint action is not limited to economic cooperation, but extends towards bringing about security, stability, peace in the region and the world. Once again, I welcome you in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I look forward to listening to your remark, Mr. President.
There we go. Okay, there we go. I think Donald Trump is up. President Trump is up. And are they playing Lee Greenwood? Playing Lee Greenwood? Hold on. All right, here we go. Down a little bit. Here's Donald Trump. This is wild. This is Donald Trump. Lee Greenwood playing in Saudi Arabia. Come on, let's go. Lee Greenwood playing in Saudi Arabia. No, ALX, we're just going to take it. Nope, let's go. Okay, here we go. The White House feed, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. This is the official, here's an official crisp, clean feed for you, full feed. Donald Trump bringing Lee Greenwood to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So awesome. What a move. What a move. America is respected again. Here we go.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. What a great place. What a great place, but more importantly, what great people. I want to thank His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, for that incredible introduction. He's an incredible man. Known him a long time now. There's nobody like him. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much, my friend. And it's a tremendous honor to return to this beautiful kingdom and be welcomed back with such extraordinary generosity and warmth. I've never forgotten the exceptional hospitality showed to us by King Solomon, who's just, we talk about a great man. That is a great man. That is a great man, a great family. Now, that visit took place exactly 8 years ago. The graciousness of the royal family and the Saudi people is really unsurpassed, no matter where you go. Let me also thank the countless ministers, government officials, business leaders, and distinguished guests for that warm welcome. Very warm, and I know so many of you. I'd like to call out all of your names, but we have a lot of problems. We'd be here for a long time. We don't want that, so don't be upset. With this historic state visit, we celebrate more than 80 years of close partnership between the United States and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ever since President Franklin Roosevelt met with King Solomon's father, King Abdul Aziz, aboard the USS Quincy in 1945, the U.S.-Saudi relationship has been a bedrock of security and prosperity. Today, we reaffirm this important bond, and we take the next steps to make our relationship closer, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. It is more powerful than ever before. And by the way, it will remain that way. We don't go in and out like other people. It will remain that way.
That's a knock on Biden. That's a knock on Biden.
This afternoon to talk about the bright future of the Middle East. But first, let me begin by sharing the abundance of good news from a place called America. In less than 4 months, our new administration has achieved more than most other administrations accomplish in 4 years or even 8 years. We've actually done, for the most part, more. The day I took office, we inherited, thank you. Thank you. The day I took office, we inherited a colossal invasion on our southern border, an invasion like you'd never want to see here. Nobody should ever want to see it. But within weeks, we slashed illegal border crossings to an all-time low, down 99.999%. That's good, even for this great gentleman standing right in front of me. That's a good number. We had hundreds of thousands of people. They came in at the same time last year. And last month, we had, in this massive border, 3 people that got in. That's quite a difference. And we have no choice but to get a lot of the people that came in because they were not the best people. They were, in many cases, very bad people. We're getting them out. We're getting them out very fast. We're bringing them back to where they came from. We have no choice. After years of military recruiting shortfalls, enlistments in the U.S. Armed Forces are now the highest in 30 years because there is such an incredible spirit in the United States of America. We have tremendous spirit again. Just about a year ago, it was a big story, front page on every paper all over the world, that nobody wanted to enlist in our military, meaning we were way under enlisted. And just last week it came out that we had the strongest enlistment. They say 30 years, but probably it's maybe ever. They don't go back that far. It's the best, and that includes police officers, firemen, everything else. Is a great spirit in the United States right now. A brand new poll from Rasmussen just showed that the number of Americans who believe the nation is on the right track, they have a right track, wrong track, is now the highest in over 20 years. And it hasn't been anything like this because for many years it was the wrong track. And I can tell you for the last 4 years it was definitely the wrong track, but it's the highest it's been in many, many years. We renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. That was very popular, other than perhaps with Mexico. And most importantly, for the people in this room, the days of economic misery under the last administration are rapidly giving way to the greatest economy in the history of the world. We are rocking. The United States is the hottest country, with the exception of your country, I have to say, right? I'm not going to take that on. No, Mohammed, I'm not going to take that on. Wouldn't that be a terrible thing if I made that full statement? But I will not do it. You're hotter. At least as long as I'm up here, you're hotter. But groceries, gasoline, energy, and all other prices are down with no inflation. We have no inflation, and in a few short weeks, we've created 464,000 brand new jobs. Think of that. It's almost 500,000 jobs created just in a matter of weeks. We just reached a historic trade agreement with the United Kingdom, and over the weekend, we reached a breakthrough agreement with China. Both outstanding deals. China's agreed. We have to get it down. We have to get the little details down. Scott, you're going to work on that very hard, but China's agreed to open up to the United States for trade and everything else. But they have to do it, so we'll see what happens. But we had a very, very good meeting with both of those countries. We are cutting 10 old regulations for every new regulation. We're getting rid of all of the red tape that is. So many, frankly, countries, as they get older, they develop a lot of red tape, and we're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of it at record levels. And I'm pleased to report that the United States Congress is on the verge of passing the largest tax cut and regulation cut in American history. We think we're in good shape to get that. And if we get that, that will be like a rocket ship for our country. In the first quarter of the year, the investment in America was up an astounding 22%, more than $10 trillion of new investments have been announced or are coming just since the election on November 5th. So think of that. In a very short period of time, we have over $10 trillion, and it could be much higher than that. Not everybody comes to the White House to have a news conference that they're going to be opening up in America, but they're all coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. If you take a look at other presidencies, they wouldn't do $1 trillion sometime in years. We did this in essentially 2 months because you have to say we got into office and they gave me about a month to clean up and fix up the Oval Office. And after that, we started working, and the money is pouring in, the jobs are pouring in, the companies are pouring into our country like we've never seen before. There's never been anything like it. And we let other people tariff us into losing a lot of money and a lot of jobs, and now we're tariffing them, and it's at a level that nobody's seen. It's a level that is making us a very much different country and a very different Republican Party. We won a tremendous victory in November. We won all 7 swing states, the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. The Electoral College, we won by 312 to 226. Remember, they said, well, we could get to 270. No, we got to 312. That's a big difference. And Very importantly, we won counties throughout the United States, 2,660 to 451. That's why when you look at a map, they're all red. So the whole country is red. Red stands for Republican. From the moment on and from the moment we started, we've seen wealth that just poured and is pouring back into America. Apple is investing $500 billion. NVIDIA is investing, and I see my friend is here, Jensen. That's very good, wherever you may be. I thank you very much, because he's putting in $500 billion. TSMC is investing. Where is Jensen, by the way? Where is he? He's standing here. Where is he? I just saw that. Thank you very much, Jensen. I mean, Tim Cook isn't here, but you are. What a job you've done. He said he's got 99% of the chip market. I don't know. That's a big, that's not easy to beat, but what a job you've done. Thank you. We are proud to have you in our country. You know that. Thank you for the investment. TSMC is investing $200 billion, and with this trip, we're adding over $1 trillion more in terms of investment into our country and buying our products. And, you know, nobody makes military equipment like us. We have the best military equipment, the best missiles, the best rockets, the best everything. Best submarines, by the way. Most lethal weapon in the world. In addition to purchases of $142 billion of American-made military equipment by our great Saudi partners, the largest ever. This week, there are multi-billion-dollar commercial deals with Amazon, Oracle, AMD. They're all here. Uber, Qualcomm, Johnson & Johnson, and many, many more. So I want to congratulate everybody. So many great business executives, many of you, most of you I know. And they're coming in, you know, about a month ago. They weren't that happy when they saw me. And now they're saying, sir, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. It's amazing what a rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in. Never seen anything like it. There's no better place to make a future or make a fortune, do anything, frankly, than what we have in the United States of America under a certain President, Donald J. Trump. I have the right attitude. I have the same attitude that the people in the front row, second row, third row have. As you get back, perhaps they start to wane a little bit in terms of their view. But they understand, and we're doing what a lot of smart people would do. And we're not necessarily being politically correct. You saw what we did yesterday with healthcare. We've cut our healthcare by 50 to 90%. You're going to see drugs and pharmaceuticals come down at numbers that nobody has ever seen. And drugs, pharmaceuticals, we think will be dropping. And it'll be a redistribution of costs with other nations, which really took advantage of a very nice group of people that ran our country. But not only is this a time of incredible excitement in the United States, it's also an exhilarating period right here in the Arabian Peninsula. Beautiful place, by the way. Beautiful place. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly 8 years ago this month, I stood in this very room and looked forward to a future in which the nations of this region would drive the forces of terrorism and extremism, drive them right out of existence, and take your place among the proudest, most prosperous, most successful nations anywhere in the world as leaders of a modern and rising Middle East. So exciting, so exciting. Mohammed, you sleep at night? How do you sleep? Huh? Just thinking. What a job. He tosses and turns like some of us, tosses and turns all night. How do I make it even better all night? It's the ones that don't toss and turn. They're the ones that will never take you to the promised land, won't they? But you have done some job. True. but critics doubted that it was possible what you've done. But over the past 8 years, Saudi Arabia has proved the critics totally wrong. The transformation that has occurred, even by these incredible business leaders. I mean, you had the biggest leaders in business anywhere in the world standing right before us. But the transformation that has occurred under the leadership of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed has been truly extraordinary. Such a thing has, I don't think, ever happened before. I've never seen anything at that scale happen before. And I guess, you know, maybe you could say the United States is doing pretty well too, you know, but I don't think too many people have seen that happen before. Majestic skyscrapers, the towers that I see, the difference between now and 8 years ago. And 8 years ago was very impressive, but the towers that I see rising, some of the exhibits that I was shown by Mohammed, what I've seen there is just an amazing, it's amazing process, amazing genius of so many people, architecture, but I have a feeling I know where many of those ideas came from. Happens to be sitting right in this room right before me, but the towers and all of the different, I've seen a lot of different towers. I didn't think there's any version of a tower that I haven't seen in one form or another. Well, I just passed 4 exhibits. I have never seen anything like any of them. So it's going to be very exciting. And they sit among the ancient wonders of a growing and exciting city. It's really amazing. Riyadh is becoming not just a seat of government, but a major business, cultural, and high-tech capital of the entire world. The World Cup is here. Johnny, just stand up, Johnny. Johnny, thank you, Johnny. Great job, Johnny, great job. But the World Cup and the World Expo will soon be coming here, just like the World Cup is coming to the United States. It's going to be really exciting next year. The engines of Formula One racing now roar through the streets of Jeddah in a historic milestone. Other industries recently surpassed oil. Think of it, all of your other industries now have surpassed oil. I don't know if a lot of people will understand what that means. It's so big to make up a majority of the Saudi economy for the very first time ever. So think of that. Other industries are now bigger even than oil, which is always going to be a big monster. It's a big one. But that's a great tribute to you and economic development properly used. In other cities throughout the peninsula, places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Doha, Muscat, the transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly. And it's something only you could do. You achieved a modern miracle, the Arabian way. That's a good way. Today, the Gulf nations have shown this entire region a path towards safe and orderly societies with improving quality of life, flourishing economic growth, expanding personal freedoms, and increasing responsibilities on the world stage. After so many decades of conflict, finally it is within our grasp to reach the future that generations before us could only dream about, a land of peace, safety, harmony, opportunity, innovation, and achievement right here in the Middle East. So beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing that's happening. I guess, the people that are here can't even really appreciate it because you see it happening, and it's when you come to a place that you haven't seen in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years that it's even more incredible. When I left office just over 4 years ago, that future seemed almost impossible, what you've done. Together we had obliterated the killers of ISIS. We wiped them out, terminated its founder and leader, al-Baghdadi. We had healed the divide in the Gulf Cooperation Council. It's a very big deal. And united the nations of the region to stand against the enemies of all civilization. We'd imposed unprecedented sanctions on Iran and starved the regime of resources to fund terror. They were unable to fund anything because they had no money left. They had no money. But the new administration came in and let them have a lot of money, and you saw what happened. It was not money well spent. And with the historic Abraham Accords that we're so proud of, all the momentum was aimed at peace, and it aimed very successfully. It's been an amazing thing, the Abraham Accords, and it's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia, a place I have such respect for, especially over the last fairly short period of time, what you've been able to do, but we'll soon be joining the Abraham Accords. I think it'll be a tremendous tribute to your country. And it will be something that's really going to be very important for the future of the Middle East. I took a risk in doing them, and they've been an absolute bonanza for the countries that have joined. The Biden administration did nothing for 4 years. We would have had it filled out. But it will be a special day in the Middle East with the whole world watching when Saudi Arabia joins us. And you'll be greatly honoring me, and you'll be greatly honoring all of those people that have fought so hard for the Middle East. And I really think it's going to be something special, but you'll do it in your own time. And that's what I want, and that's what you want, and that's the way it's going to be. When I left office, the only thing still standing between this region and its unbelievable potential was a small group of rogue actors and violent thugs seeking constantly to drag the Middle East backward and into havoc, mayhem, and indeed into war. Unfortunately, instead of confronting these destructive forces, the last U.S. administration chose to enrich them and empower them and give them billions and billions of dollars. The Biden administration, the worst administration in the history of our country, by the way, spurned our most trusted and longstanding Gulf partners, and I can say partners worldwide, one of our great, great partners, no matter who we look to. And we have great partners in the world, but we have none stronger and nobody like the gentleman that's right before me. He's your greatest representative, greatest representative. And if I didn't like him, I'd get out of here so fast. You know that, don't you? He knows me well. I do. I like him a lot. I like him too much. That's why we give so much, Too much. I like you too much. Great guy. They lifted sanctions on Iran in exchange for getting nothing, and sent the regime tens of billions of dollars to fund terror and death all over the world. And they laughed at him. They laughed at our leader. And they're still laughing at our leader. They thought him a fool, and they made nothing but trouble ever since, including the funding of October 7th, one of the worst days ever in the history of the Middle East. Horrible day. Biden removed the Houthis from the list of foreign terrorist organizations, even while missiles and drones were being launched right here at your beautiful city of Riyadh and launched at ships if they happened to be sailing in the wrong location. The Biden administration's extreme weakness and gross incompetence derailed progress toward peace, destabilized the region, and put at risk everything we had worked so hard to build together. And when you think of the great achievements that you've made, to do it in light of a pretty hostile administration, an administration that was not a believer, it makes your achievements even greater. Makes them even greater, you know that. But in a few short months since taking office, we have achieved the swift return of American strength at home and abroad, now working with the vast majority of people in this region who seek stability and calm. Our task is to unify against the few agents of chaos and terror that are left and that are holding hostage the dreams of millions and millions of great people. The biggest and most destructive of these forces is the regime in Iran, which has caused unthinkable suffering in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond. There could be no sharper contrast with the path you have pursued on the Arabian Peninsula than the disaster unfolding right across in the Gulf of Iran. Think of that. They wanted to name it that. I said, they're not going to let them do that. Do you mind if I stop that? I stopped it. We're not going to let that happen. While you have been constructing the world's tallest skyscrapers in Jeddah and Dubai, Tehran's 1979 landmarks are collapsing into rubble and dust. They had it going for a little while under a much different system, but those buildings are largely falling apart, falling down, while you're building some of the world's biggest and most incredible infrastructure projects. Buildings, all sorts of things you're building that nobody's ever even seen before. Iran's decades of neglect and mismanagement have left the country plagued by rolling blackouts lasting for hours a day. All the time you hear about it. While your skill has turned dry deserts into fertile farmland, Iran's leaders have managed to turn green farmland into dry deserts as their corrupt water mafia, it's called it the water mafia, causes droughts and empty riverbeds. They get rich, but they don't let the people have any of it. And then, of course, there's the key difference at the root of it all. While the Arab states have focused on becoming pillars of regional stability and world commerce, Iran's leaders have focused on stealing their people's wealth to fund terror and bloodshed abroad. Most tragic of all, they have dragged down an entire region with them. Countless lives were lost in the Iranian effort to maintain a crumbling regime in Syria. Look at what happened with Syria. In Lebanon, their Hezbollah proxies have pillaged the hopes of a nation whose capital, Beirut, was once called the Paris of the Middle East. Can you imagine? All of this misery and so much more was entirely avoidable, absolutely avoidable. And Mohammed knew that. He knew that. Smart people knew that. If only the Iranian regime had focused on building their nation up instead of tearing the region down. Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies, but sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. Enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America are nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies. I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before. If you know that, they were a virtually bankrupt country because of what I did. They had no money for terror. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. But with that said, Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace. They're happening right here. They're happening at a very fast pace. So they have to make their move right now, one way or the other. Make your move. As I said in my inaugural address, my greatest hope is to be a peacemaker and to be a unifier. I don't like war. We have the greatest military, by the way, in the history of the world. You know, I rebuilt our military in my first 4 years and rebuilt it into the most powerful military there is. And you saw that when I knocked out ISIS in 3 weeks. People said it would take 4 years, 5 years. I did it. We did it in 3 weeks. Just days ago, my administration successfully brokered a historic ceasefire to stop the escalating violence between India and Pakistan. And I used trade to a large extent to do it. I said, fellas, come on, let's make a deal. Let's do some trading. Let's not trade nuclear missiles. Let's trade the things that you make so beautifully. And they both have very powerful leaders, very strong leaders, good leaders, smart leaders. And it all stopped. Hopefully it'll remain that way, but it all stopped. I was very proud of Marco Rubio and all of the people that worked so hard. Marco, stand up. What a great job you did on that. Thank you, J.D. Vance, Marco. The whole group worked with you, but it was a great job. And I think they're actually getting along. Maybe we can even get them together a little bit, Marco, where they go out and have a nice dinner together. Wouldn't that be nice? But we've come a long way, and it could be, you know, millions of people could have died from that conflict that started off small and was getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. I've also been working relentlessly to end the terrible bloodshed between Russia and Ukraine, and very importantly, talks are being held in Turkey later this week, probably on Thursday, and they could produce some pretty good results. Our people are going to be going there. Marco's going to be going there. Others are going to be going, and we'll see if we can get it done. 5,000 people, young people for the most part, soldiers from Ukraine, soldiers from Russia. They're not from here and they're not from the United States, but they're souls. They're souls. I think usually, mostly they're young, beautiful souls that left their parents waving goodbye, left their brothers and sisters. Goodbye, I'll see you soon. And they got blown to pieces. 5,000 on average a week are dying. And people are dying elsewhere in the region, but tremendous numbers like we haven't seen since World War II are dying. And I want to stop it. I want to stop it. It's a horrible war. Would have never happened if I were president. That's a war that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened if I were president, because Iran had no money to pay Hamas or anybody else. They had no money. They were not looking to take care of them. They had to take care of themselves. They had no money. We stopped their oil effectively with the embargoes and sanctions. But let me take this opportunity to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the constructive role that you've played in facilitating the Ukraine talks. And it really is, you've been amazing. You've made everything available to us. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if we get that settled, we'll pay a special tribute to what you've done. You really did lay a great groundwork. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. The West should not be dragging itself backward into another endless war in Europe, yet another endless war. We should stop the killing and work together to address the biggest long-term threats as one unbeatable team. Think of us as an unbeatable team. I mean, when you look at what you've done here, that's much more difficult than stopping stupidity. Think of it. It's stupidity. What you've done is much more difficult, and you did it better than anybody else has ever done it. As President of the United States, my preference will always be for peace and partnership whenever those outcomes can be achieved. Always. It's always going to be that way. Only a fool would think otherwise. In recent years, far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders and use U.S. policy to dispense justice for their sins. They loved using our very powerful military, and now it's really the most powerful it's ever been. We just are getting a budget approved, $1 trillion, highest budget we've ever had in history for military, $1 trillion. And we're getting the greatest missiles, the greatest weapons. And, you know, I hate to do it, but you have to do it because we believe in peace through strength. You have to have the strength, otherwise bad things could happen. But hopefully we'll never have to use any of those weapons. Seems to be an awfully big waste of money. You're never going to use them, but hopefully we'll never have to use them because the destructive power of some of those weapons are like nobody's seen before. I believe it is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America and to promote the fundamental interest of stability, prosperity, and peace. That's what I really want to do. I will never hesitate to wield American power if it's necessary to defend the United States or to help defend our allies. And there will be no mercy for any foe who tries to do us or them harm. We will have no mercy. They understand that. That's why I've been pretty lucky. A lot of people think, you know, he's looking to fight. He's looking to fight, and things get settled. It's an amazing thing when they really think you mean it. But we do. We have the greatest military, the strongest military, stronger than any. Nobody's even close. We have the best weapons in the world, but we don't want to use them. If you threaten America or our partners, however, then you'll be faced with overwhelming strength and devastating force. We have things that you don't even know about, you don't hear about. And if you did, you'd say, wow. In recent weeks, following repeated attacks on American ships and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea, the United States military launched more than 1,100 strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. As a result, the Houthis agreed to stop. They said, we don't want this anymore. It's the first time you've heard that from them, too. They're tough. They're fighters. But just days ago, we were asked to cease targeting commercial. They were not going to be targeting commercial ships in any way, shape, or form, anything American. And they were very happy that we stopped. But we had 52 days of thunder and lightning like they've never seen before. This was a swift, ferocious, decisive, and extremely successful use of military force. Not that we wanted to do it, but they were shooting down ships. They were shooting at you. They were shooting at Saudi Arabia. We don't want them shooting at Saudi Arabia if that's okay. So we hit them hard. We got what we came for, and then we got out. Since January 20th, the U.S. military has terminated 83 terrorist leaders operating across Iraq, Syria, and Somalia, including ISIS's #2 global leader. You read about that just recently. With the help of Pakistan, we apprehended the ISIS terrorists responsible for the attack on 13 American service members at Abbey Gate, that horrible, horrible disaster. During this Afghanistan withdrawal, you know, that's another thing that we don't even think about so much anymore. 13 died, but 42 were horribly wounded. But hundreds of people died overall, because I count the people on the other side. Hundreds of people just grossly incompetent. It's probably why Putin decided to go into Ukraine, something he never would have done if I were president. But we wouldn't have had the problems of October 7th if I were president. We wouldn't have had Ukraine, Russia if I were president. We wouldn't have had Abbey Gate, because there wouldn't have been any reason we were getting out, but we were getting out with dignity and with strength and power. But the way they got out was not good. I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And we've been working tirelessly to bring back all hostages held by Hamas. We brought back a lot already, but we're bringing back more. This weekend, we successfully negotiated the release of the last American hostage, Edan Alexander. Just came out a few hours ago, and we continue to work to get that war ended as quickly as possible. It's a horrible thing that's taking place. All civilized people must condemn the October 7th atrocities against Israel, which would never have happened again if you had probably a different president, but definitely if you had me as president. The people of Gaza deserve a much better future, but that will or can not occur as long as their leaders choose to kidnap, torture, and target innocent men, women, and children for political ends. The way those people are treated in Gaza, there's not a place in the world where people are treated so badly. It's horrible. After years of suffering, two of the nations most ravaged by terror are finally beginning to end their long nightmares under the new generation of leaders. In Lebanon, where a friend of mine has just become the ambassador. He's going to be great. I said, you know, that could be a very dangerous job. He said, I was born there. I'm Lebanese. I love that country. I said, but it's very dangerous. You know, this is a friend of mine from New York. I said, but it's very dangerous. Are you sure you want to do it? I never thought of him as being a warrior, but he is a warrior. He loves his country. He said, if I'm injured or die, I'm dying for a country that I love. He grew up there. It's horrible what's happened in Lebanon, but you have a great ambassador, I can tell you that. In Lebanon, which has been endlessly victimized by Hezbollah and their sponsor, Iran, a new president and prime minister brought the first real chance in decades for a more productive partnership with the United States, and we're going to work with their new ambassador and everybody else, Marco, and we're going to see if we can really help them out and let them get over that very high grid that they're going to have to get over. My administration stands ready to help Lebanon create a future of economic development and peace with its neighbors. They have tremendous people in Lebanon, doctors, lawyers, great professional people. I hear it so many times. Likewise, in Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there is a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping peace. That's what we want to see in Syria. They've had their share of travesty, war, killing, many years. That's why my administration has already taken the first steps toward restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade. And I'm very pleased to announce that Secretary Marco Rubio will be meeting with the new Syrian foreign minister in Turkey later this week. And very importantly, after discussing the situation in Syria with the Crown Prince, your Crown Prince, and also with President Erdogan of Turkey, who called me the other day and asked for a very similar thing, among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East, I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince. The sanctions were brutal and crippling and served as an important, really an important function, nevertheless, at the time. But now it's their time to shine. It's their time to shine. We're taking them all off, and they're going to have, I think they're going to have based on the people and the spirit and everything else that I'm hearing about. So I say, good luck, Syria. Show us something very special like they've done, frankly, in Saudi Arabia. Okay, they're going to show us something special. Very good people. Everywhere we can, my administration is pursuing peaceful engagement, offering a strong and steady hand of friendship to all that will take it in good faith. Together, we have made unprecedented strides and tremendous progress, and we're still just at the dawn of the bright new day that awaits for the people of the Middle East, the great, great people of the Middle East. If the responsible nations of this region seize this moment, put aside your differences and focus on the interests that unite you, then all of humanity will soon be amazed at what they will see right here in this geographic center of the world. It really is. It's like a center of the world and the spiritual heart of its greatest faiths. For the first time in 1,000 years, the world will look at this region not as a place of turmoil and strife and war and death, but as a land of opportunity and hope, just like you've done right here, a cultural and commercial crossroads of the planet. Security and stability will lift millions into lives of safety and success, and the nations of this region will be free to realize your highest destinies, honor your proud histories, harness amazing new opportunities, and bring incredible glory to Almighty God. People will come from all over the globe to be inspired by the cities you build, the businesses you create, the technologies you invent, and the beauty, talent, and potential you unleash right in the hearts of your citizens. Each of you will be able to take tremendous pride in the legacy you will leave to your children, because you will have given them the ultimate blessings of prosperity and peace. So important. In the United States, we've launched the golden age of America. It's the golden age. We see it. We see it with all that money, trillions and trillions of dollars pouring in, hundreds of thousands of jobs coming in with it. And with the help of the people of the Middle East, the people in this room, partners throughout the region, the golden age of the Middle East can proceed right alongside of us. We will work together. We will be together. We will succeed together. We will win together. And we will always be friends. Thank you. So, Mohammed, I want to thank you again very much for having me. And as a representative of what I think is the greatest nation in the world, we are with you all the way, and you have a tremendous future. Thank you very much. And please pay my respects to your father. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here we go. Here's the YMCA. Hold on. Let's see if they do it. Are they going to do the YMCA together? Trump freaking bringing us world peace? No. Okay, go to the other one. Hold on. We got another feed. That's the White House feed. They just cut. Let's see. Will Trump do the YMCA with the Crown Prince? I can't believe this. This is the power of culture, man. This is incredible. Oh, man. Do the dance together. Come on. Oh, wait. There he does it. No, wait. I don't know. It looked like it. Hits the move. Donald Trump making massive news, reestablishing the partnership with Saudi Arabia, announcing that he's going to take away all the sanctions against Syria. This is massive. Mainly because Syria, the leader of Syria, just announced, can you please grab this, ALX, that he wants to build Trump Tower in Damascus. He wants to put a massive golden Trump Tower in Damascus. I'm telling you, these guys are speaking Donald Trump's love language. This is great. Can you grab this article? This is too good. So the leader of Syria has just said, Trump, I will build your golden tower. I will build a golden Trump Tower for you. Saudi Arabia wanting the United States to allow for Syria to be rebuilt and for it to be a prosperous country. Trump Tower in Damascus. Syria seeks to charm U.S. president. Man, it's amazing. So that's major breaking news. Then Donald Trump sort of reasserting the partnership with Saudi Arabia, reasserting the power of that relationship and peace in the Middle East, and then going hard on Iran And he was calling out Hegseth. He was calling out Rubio. He's calling out Witkoff, Lutnick, and Elon, and everybody that's there in sort of the phalanx of the front row. How awesome is it to see a president with that kind of strength and power? Trump clearly having a great time. He did the weave like 379,000 times. How great is it to have a president that just stand up there and can just like let her rip like that? Ladies and gentlemen, so awesome. This is like all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a power outage. That's what happened here. Killer Klein is getting back up. There are massive storms that are rolling through Tampa right now, and we had a power outage in the studio. I suppose like we've got to really like consider potentially installing a generator or something around here. That's what happened. That's just a reality in the months in Florida. In the summer months, there are these massive electrical storms that roll through and that cause power to dip. That's why you see so many people that have generators around here. But even then, it takes a second for the generators to kick back on. And so all the lights just went off in the studio. The internet has to reset, and that's what happened here on the stream. We are going to do our very best. Like Klein is furious. I'm furious about this. I don't ever want this to happen again. And we're going to be building redundancies in. We've built redundancies in for our internet. We built redundancies in for our for all of our streaming platforms and for our production. The last bit that we have is the actual source of power, which is what shut down the entire studio here. So everything goes off, right? And so when the power companies get involved and they collapse and it was off for, I don't know, like 5-10 seconds, then everything needs to reboot. So it sucks, just is what it is, and we apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that is clearly we don't ever want to happen. And we're gonna start working on this right after the show, Klein. We're gonna do maybe a Tesla wall backup battery potentially with redundancies through our internet servers. We're not sure. It does happen on occasion. Last year, for instance, there were big hurricane seasons where we had to move the show out of Tampa because Tampa was hit directly by a hurricane, and there was no reliable power, right? So unfortunately, it is what it is for everybody who live streams out of Florida. So there we go. We're gonna fix it. We spent a little bit of the show talking about how valuable it is to have the ability to build up, right, and do it all from scratch and do it from zero. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes, though, there is quite a bit of stress ratcheting up in this job. It is a stressful job, especially when the internet goes out for a minute or two. And so it is good for us to be able to recharge and chill when we get home. One of my number one recharge vectors is my children. Obviously, bundling up my little kids and running around with them. But then also, ladies and gentlemen, my bond charge helps me recharge. This is something awesome. I got to tell you, like, this is an amazing, amazing piece of equipment and advanced technology. It's red light technology. My wife swears by it. You know, she's a nurse. And it's like having my own miniature sauna at home. This red light technology, I literally, when my kids get scrapes and bruises and cuts, we put it on their skin. It helps them, and it helps me. Bond Charge is for real. Their infrared sauna blanket that they sent me helps me feel relaxed and revitalized after every single session. This is something that is thoroughly Nurse Kate approved, okay? It's like that's who decides what happens in my home, is my nurse wife, and it's something that she's used through the pregnancy, and it's something that I use to chill out at the end of the day, especially when you have power outages live on the stream. You get the same benefits as a sauna, traditional sauna, but the infrared heat helps release endorphins, leaves you feeling euphoric and chilled out, relaxed, and ready to rock. I use mine at the end of the day. You should use yours anytime during the day. And, ladies and gentlemen, these products are HSA and FSA eligible for pre-tax savings up to 40% and free shipping on every single sauna blanket and a 12-month warranty. So you can go to bondcharge.com/Benny, use the coupon code Benny for 15% off. Bondcharge, BONCHARGE.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 15% off today. These statements and products are not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent any disease. They're just something that's kick-ass and I use on a daily basis, ladies and gentlemen. Bond Charge, okay, recharge. Maybe if we were traveling in Saudi Arabia, we could use we wouldn't have to use a sauna. We'd just walk outside and get nice and toasty. Okay, so speaking of nice and toasty, we have some fascinating news breaking, and we're excited to talk about it with our next guest, who is so patiently joining us after she had technical difficulties traveling yesterday, and we just had technical difficulties. It is what it is when you're live streaming. We are always live for the show, and we thank you and hearts out to the chat for rolling with us. So here we go. These things equal each other out, and the great Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman, standing strong from the state of Georgia, is going to join to talk about the breaking news with us today. Let's go. Congresswoman, we thank you for your patience there. We had like a teeny power outage in the studio, and you had technical difficulties yesterday, so 1 for 1, and now we're even.
You know what? It happens, Benny, and everybody knows how to roll with it. So
right.
I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Speaking of rolling with it, I'm not sure if you were watching President Trump's speech in Saudi Arabia. I know you're such a strong ally of the president. It's got to make you incredibly proud. It just looks like American dominance back on the menu, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the entire speech, and I was thrilled to see a Trump rally in Riyadh. I loved watching the president walk out to Lee Greenwood, and I loved the finish to the YMCA. And President Trump, you know, for those of us that have been going to Trump rallies for years and years now, I think I'm the member of Congress that holds the record here in Washington for going to Trump rallies. But I loved all the classic things. And I was watching, he goes off script. We love when he goes off script. He shouts out to people in the audience, and he did that multiple times. And he also reminded everybody how handily he won the elections here in the United States. And carried on the same President Trump message that we know and love. It was fantastic.
So the president shouted you out during the speech. What an honor. Your bill renaming the Gulf of America. He shouted you out. By the way, we live on the Gulf of America, so a personal thank you from me and my family because I get to take my kids to the Gulf of America. But it's your bill. The president just signed it, and he just shouted you out in Riyadh. That's pretty cool.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And, you know, it's really the pride of America to change the name of the Gulf to the Gulf of America. And Benny, something that is so important about that is that not only does your family live there and many businesses thrive on the Gulf of America, it's also our United States Coast Guard that defends and secures the waters of the Gulf of America from drug trafficking and human trafficking that comes from the cartels in Mexico. So I think this was a really fun bill to pass last week in the House, and I was honored to be able to codify President Trump's executive order on Gulf of America.
So this is going to dovetail into something that I know has been a frustration for you, and a lot of people have been bubbling up about it. Certainly our chat on the show has been asking, where are all the bills exactly that should be on President Trump's desk? Executive orders are fantastic, but executive orders can be undone, as we watched the wreckage of President Biden. This is obviously something that has been a frustration. Can you give us an update as to what's going on with is Congress moving like painfully slow, too slow for you?
Yeah, you know, I had a couple of posts I made about 2 weeks ago go viral because as a Republican member of Congress, I went very vocal on my frustrations with the House and the Senate for their refusal to pass President Trump's executive orders. I was also the first to point out to everyone that here under President Trump's first 100 days, we only sent 5 bills to his desk. And one of them was a Biden Democrat policy and funding CR. However, Nancy Pelosi sent 11 bills to President Biden's desk in his first 100 days, and that included their reconciliation bill, which passed the Green New Deal, open border policies, extended many ridiculous COVID-era spending and policies, and so many more destructive things to the United States of America. And I think I was the first to call that one out publicly. And I've been real happy to see a lot of people posting that and publications writing about it and people talking about it, because I think it's shameful. And I think Republicans in the House and in the Senate should be ashamed that we have not passed President Trump's executive orders. We have not passed rescission cuts that DOJ has found. I mean, incredible amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse, and we haven't even defunded PBS and NPR after I held an explosive hearing on the DOJ subcommittee on oversight that I chair. And so, yes, I've been very vocal about it, and I'm keeping the pressure up here in Washington, D.C., because America overwhelmingly voted for President Trump's Agenda 47. And Republicans here in Washington don't get to hold power in their little kingdoms within the House and the Senate and refuse to pass the American people's agenda.
Can you explain to us, like from inside the room, like why the hell is this happening? We've been watching your work with the Doge Caucus. Mm-hmm. It's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fireworks, obviously. You and Jasmine, it's been, I would watch that live stream all day. But like, why exactly has this moved so slowly?
Well, Benny, I'll be real honest. It's Republicans in Washington that don't support MAGA, and they don't support President Trump's agenda that he campaigned on. And it's many Republicans in the House and the Senate that literally just ran and cozied up to Trump after he defeated everyone in the Republican primary during the 2024 election cycle, and then stomped Kamala Harris into the ground in November of 2024. And, then those Republicans came running, and they forgot real quick in just a very quick amount of time that we owe our House Republican majority and the Senate Republican majority to President Trump because of his campaign message, because of his amazing fight that he never stopped fighting, even after they shot him in the face in Butler, Pennsylvania, and tried to kill him again on his own golf course. And even after Democrats weaponized the justice system against him, tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life, tried to destroy his businesses, and tried to destroy practically every single person that worked for him and worked in the Trump administration. Republicans are the ones that have the quickest memory loss here in Washington, D.C., and they're too busy trying to push their own agendas, Benny. That's really the truth. They have run back to Tea Party politics. They have run back to being neocons. They have run back to establishment uniparty ways here in Washington. And so, yesterday when President Trump signed his massively historic executive order to reduce drug prices, The loudest voices you could hear in Washington were laughing about it, saying, "Oh, that'll never pass in the House and the Senate," because they refuse to do it. And so, I think the American people need a hard wake-up call, Benny, and I'm trying to be the one waking everyone up. The people that you donate to, the people that you knock doors for, the people that you pray get elected and then vote for during elections every 2 years, every 4 years, every 6 years, are not doing the job that they promise you. And I, as one member of Congress, cannot force them to do it. It's literally going to take all of you, the American people, to force these colleagues I work with, to force the establishment Uniparty, to force the establishment Republican Party to get on the program and do the job that you people told them to do.
It's incredible how you have to pull teeth just to get President Trump's appointments into office, and they had to pull Ed Martin's appointment.
Yeah, can you
which
imagine?
Is such a humiliation.
Can you imagine these senators? These senators actually refuse. Let me tell you. Let me get it real straight right here. These are the same senators that voted to confirm Merrick Garland, that went after parents who were trying to hold their school boards accountable, that arrested abortion protesters peacefully protesting the murder of the unborn. This is Merrick Garland that weaponized the justice system against President Trump and January 6th defendants, MAGA grandmas that happened to just walk in the Capitol and thank police officers and just say, God bless America. And they did it on video on their Facebook pages for like 30 seconds. That's who they confirmed in the Senate. You know who else they confirmed? They also confirmed Alejandro Mayorkas, Benny, that opened up our borders and allowed America to be flooded with millions and millions of illegal aliens, terrorists, and cartels. Alejandro Mayorkas was the best business partner the cartels could ever ask for. And I'm the only one that was able to get him impeached in the House when I forced that vote on the House floor.
Okay, so what you just said there, Congresswoman, taking a step back, there's a perfect opportunity for Republicans to prove that they are backing law enforcement, that they are backing the blue, that they are the party of law and order. And here it is. There's a member of Congress named LaMonica McIver. And here she is on DHS sent us this footage. This is the body cam footage of her punching, hitting, kicking, shoving, elbowing, and assaulting a federal officer. Why is she still in Congress? Now, more importantly, and I know this is going to be, take a vote and so on and so forth to kick her out, but more importantly, Congresswoman, why hasn't Republican leadership come out and said this is not becoming of a member of Congress? We are ripping her off her committees. We are going to lock her office and not give her the keys. She's not welcome back in the bill. Like, there are ways to there's ways to start the process of humiliation and to keep the heat up. And the DHS has been sending us this footage and had been doing all the messaging on here. Where's Republican leadership? And I'll tell you, I asked I asked Speaker Johnson's office, and I got nothing, zero.
Wow. Well, let me rewind the clock a little bit. I was one of the Republican members of Congress that literally went to the DC jail multiple times in 2021 and 2022, demanding oversight of that jail because it's under the jurisdiction of Congress here in the District of Columbia. And I never fought with any police officers. I never busted my way in and refused to leave. As a matter of fact, I got turned away every single time at the door and never got to go in that jail until November of 2021 when they allowed me to come in for a tour. So there's a dramatic difference in the two. And no matter how you feel about former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, he kicked Ilhan Omar and Adam Schiff off of their committees, and they needed to be kicked off. So our Speaker of the House should hold these members accountable that fought with law enforcement, because guess what, Benny? This week in Washington, D.C., ironically, is Police Week. Of all weeks in Washington, we're celebrating Police Week, where we honor fallen police officers, we honor their families, and we honor the greatest men and women in our country, which are our police officers and law enforcement who work very hard and are paid very little for the job that they do. But yes, here in the House, here's some options for Speaker Johnson. He can remove them from their committees and kick them off. They do not deserve these responsibilities when they disrespect the law and fight police officers and fight ICE who are responsible for deporting illegal aliens, terrorists, and criminal cartel members. That would be one option. Another option is we can censure them on the House floor. That requires a House vote and a majority vote to do so. And then a third option would be expelling them from Congress, which is what was done to George Santos. And that would require a 2/3 vote in the House. And I can assure you we would never get that vote because we don't have 2/3 Republican majority. We barely have a majority at all. So those are the options that can be done. And I think that's up to the speaker, and he should be leading the way on that.
I'm just saying that there's a moment in time where you need leadership and you need to hit that iron while it's hot, as they say.
Yes, absolutely.
And when a member of Congress is behaving like this, it's incumbent upon the speaker to say, you're wrong and you're going to be punished to the best.
Imagine
I can't arrest you. DHS will arrest her, but like the speaker needs to say something.
Imagine if I had done that. Imagine if I had busted my way in to the DC jail, pushed and shoved, elbowed, and refused to leave and fought the police officers there at that jail. Imagine what Nancy Pelosi, imagine what Merrick Garland of the Department of Justice, and imagine what the Democrats would have done to me.
Congresswoman, you'd be in prison.
Yeah, they kicked me off of committees. And I had all the Democrats voted for that, and 11 Republicans went along with it as well. So, it's sometimes our own party is the problem.
Yes, sometimes our own party is the problem. There does seem to be a concerted effort. This bubbled up in the news quite a bit over the last week when it comes to just not asking any questions about some touchy subjects. Epstein has been in the news over the past week. There have been some interesting revelations from the DOJ, but no member of Congress seems to want to ask questions about this. I find it ironic that Dick Durbin, who was the major Epstein cover-up artist, he decided to just get out of town and leave. And a number of people who potentially could be implicated in this just are behaving guilty as hell. But there just isn't any efforting, right, to get this job done and to get some justice for the victims here, and to punish major criminals. Can you comment on this? Pam Bondi saying that there's tens of thousands of videos of underage, presumably women being abused in these videos, maybe even American presidents on those videos. Why are we protecting them exactly?
Benny, you did a great job yesterday. I was able to watch a lot of your coverage on that. And so I thought you did a really good job. And one of the things you said that I thought was so important is you said, by no means do we want any type of pornography released to the public. Yeah. And I fully agree with you on that. And we have to, and they're protecting the victims. And we also don't believe in releasing that type of evidence or footage out publicly. It's horrendous. It's disgusting, and all the victims have to be protected. However, there are many powerful people that were captured, so to speak, through Jeffrey Epstein. He was basically a honey trap for all of these rich and powerful people, whether they were elected officials, whether they were from a certain royal family, or no matter, or business people, powerful business people. Those are the people that the American people deserve to know about. Those are the people that I demand to know about. And those are the people that need to be exposed. However, they've been protected and hidden for a very long time. And I cannot answer why that has been the case. And it should never be the case. I want to go a step further, Benny. While Kash Patel and Pam Bondi say they are reviewing all the footage through the FBI and working to get this evidence out to the American people, I certainly hope they do so. And I'm expecting them to do so. And I think everyone should be expecting them to do so. But I'll weigh in on something that James Comer said to you is, the Trump administration just got in power a few months ago. We have no idea what evidence there was maybe before the Biden administration left. We have no idea what the evidence was years ago because we weren't in charge of it. However, I will remind everybody about all those shredding trucks that set out in front of the Department of Justice and set out in front of other agencies and departments. And so it's of my personal opinion is I do wonder how much evidence has been destroyed over the years, or say recently, by the Biden administration, because it's their friends and the people they cozy up with that would probably be exposed through the Epstein client list or the Epstein list of people that he had very embarrassing evidence on. So that's just me wondering out loud, is a lot of it left? Yeah, there's a great picture. Shredding trucks. Those were there for multiple weeks in multiple departments and agencies here in Washington, D.C. after Trump won the election in November and before we took over and President Trump was sworn in late January. So that's just me wondering out loud how much evidence is really there. And another thing is, why has it been held back for so many years? I think that's the question that everybody wants to know, and transparency should be given. And then lastly, Benny, I'll say this. I don't think that it's the United States government is the only government that has information on Jeffrey Epstein. I think there are other governments that are our allies as well that definitely have maybe even worse damning evidence on Jeffrey Epstein and the people that he brought in his circles with his disgusting sexual abuse and pornography. So I would call out some of our allies, maybe Israel, maybe the UK. I think there's other countries that definitely have information. And, you know, maybe people should take a play out of the great Miles of Argentina's playbook. Like, he just released the information about Adolf Hitler actually leaving Germany and escaping to Argentina, staying there for approximately 20 years before he died. Isn't it funny how history all lied to us for so many years? Well, maybe some of our allies in foreign countries would also release the information that they have on Jeffrey Epstein and the people that he brought in his circles.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. We see that Jeffrey Epstein stays inside of royal lodges and was invited to royal weddings. Yep. Ghislaine Maxwell was at Bill Clinton's wedding. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a Mossad agent, was working for the nation of Israel, got a state funeral there, and then was eulogized by the prime minister of Israel, saying that the world will never know what he truly did for us. It was like, well, all right. I mean, this sure does seem like a honeypot, like an intel operation.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's kind of obvious. And Matt Gaetz is on our program, made a lot of news saying that he thought that it was a foreign nation that was allowed to go kill Epstein in a jail cell. Since you brought it up, Congresswoman, I just might as well ask your former colleague, Matt Gaetz. That's what he's told us. What do you think?
Well, it's of my opinion, and I don't have evidence to back it up, but I don't think that he killed himself. I just don't believe that. And I would not be surprised if a foreign country came in and was allowed to murder him in his cell. Nothing would surprise me at this point, Benny. Like I said, we were lied to growing up in school, being told that Adolf Hitler killed himself in Germany at the end of World War II, when in reality, he escaped and lived in Argentina for 20 more years. So the real problem here is all the narratives are falling away. People are very smart and they're looking into everything and trying to find the truth on many different issues. And this just happens to be one of them.
And we've talked about this Adolf Hitler thing. There's I believe, CIA document and then FBI documents that say that the government went in search and tried to find out. The Russians say that they have his skull, but forensic analysis of that skull said it was of a 40-year-old female and not of Adolf Hitler. So, yeah, I guess you got to sit and ask, like, where exactly is the evidence? Okay, so here's the evidence. You're talking about something that happened 70, 80 years ago, okay? Mm-hmm. And even Epstein, you're talking about decades ago, perhaps. What about the Trump assassinations? You've just brought them up in a single answer ago, Congresswoman. Like, where the hell are we on these? Like, so you nearly have civil war. You have world-changing events. There would be no Donald Trump in Riyadh. There would be no world peace happening right now. They tried to murder him. And you have photos of the assassins talking on the phone, doing FaceTime. You have photos of the FBI literally power washing the roofs. And then the guy who tried to kill Trump on his golf course, trying to get Ukrainian munitions, RPGs and Stinger missiles from Ukraine, smuggled across our border to kill Trump. Like, it seems like this should be clearly the biggest story on earth, but no one wants to talk about it. Is there any motion in Congress to get this information? Where'd this all go?
All right, well, exactly right. A Ukrainian agent tried to kill Trump on his own golf course. I mean, how about that? And then Thomas Crooks, every ounce of information about him is wiped clean after he somehow became such a great shooter that he shot President Trump in the ear, laying on a roof, just so many feet away from many Secret Service agents and police officers, nearly killed Donald Trump on a world stage, just like John F. Kennedy was killed during a parade on a world stage on camera for everyone to see. So, there are a lot of questions and no, you know what? There's a lot of answers that the American people deserve to hear, and the truth should be told. This wasn't even a year ago this happened, Benny. Yeah. But my point of talking about how all of these incredible things happen and then they get completely covered up and everything moves on. I mean, we can even talk about how it wasn't even 6 months ago that drones were flying all over New Jersey, that it was UFOs were being talked about constantly. And that on President Trump's inauguration here in Washington, helicopters were flying in a grid-like pattern looking for possibly nuclear material or some sort of dirty bomb. And then all of a sudden it just falls out of the news cycle. Like all of these things just fall out of the news cycle, but the American people do not forget.
Final thing, Congresswoman, and we really appreciate your time on this, and this has been a fascinating interview. I have a feeling it's going to go very viral. There is the top news story in the country right now. Jake Tapper deciding to report that Joe Biden was going to be wheelchair bound for his next administration. And that's what they were internally trying to cover up. Going off, Jake Tapper saying on CNN, hey, listen, this was the biggest cover-up in American political history. They lied to everyone. They lied to Congress. They lied to administration officials about Joe Biden's state. I know that you have been on this program for 4 solid years telling the truth about Joe Biden. You might be the most correct person in Washington when it comes to what you've said publicly about Joe Biden. Now you've been proven right. Jake Tapper is a fraud. He would have never done this, I think, personally, if Donald Trump wouldn't have won. But now that he's won, Jake Tapper can make money off it. So what's your take on all of this? Did you hear any of this? And you're famous for coming on the program and saying that Joe Biden soiled himself on a foreign trip. So again, you were right. You were right.
All right. So I just want to say Jake Tapper is so brave. Isn't he so brave? I mean, here he is. He wrote a book after the fact, and now he's the truth teller. Jake Tapper's a damn liar, and all he is profiting off of his lies. He's part of the cover-up with all the other Democrats for 4 years. Everybody knew that Joe Biden has dementia. Everybody knew that he could not, maintain his bowels or any of his bathroom habits. Everybody knew that he should not be president, and they all lied and they all covered it up, and they all did it together. Which should be the thing that scares the American people most, is these people in lockstep will lie to your face every single day and tell you something that is a complete lie and that to be true, and the media will do it with them. And if anybody thinks the Democrat Party has changed, I'm going to flat out tell you this Democrat Party has not changed a single ounce, even after they got whooped in the November 2024 election. They still are exactly who they are. If they get back in power, they are going to weaponize the Department of Justice, and it's going to be much worse than it was last time. They're going to rip our borders wide open. They're going to demand the release of every single cartel member in the jail in El Salvador, and they will fly them directly to the United States of America. And they will continue on, and they'll go right back to the climate insanity and destroy the oil and gas industry and fossil fuel energy. And this is who the Democrats are. And they have not changed their colors. They have not learned a lesson. And they are going to stick together again and go right back to their ways if America allows them the chance. But let's add this, Benny. We haven't fixed our elections. And that's the part that bothers me most is Republicans are in charge, but yet Republicans refuse to call another census and count the Americans in this country, citizens only, and redraw district lines based on American citizenship, not on total population numbers. And until the Republicans are daring and brave enough to do something like this, our country and our elections will absolutely be stolen again. And Democrats will undo all of President Trump's great executive orders because Republicans have not codified them into law. And so my warning to everyone is you better start holding people accountable. People that you voted for, hold us all accountable, and also demand that Republicans be a lot more brave and courageous than they're being right now.
That's exactly right. An inability to disavow Monica McIver and her despicable actions on camera is just such weakness. But then you're right. Democrats have 20 extra seats because of criminal aliens.
Well, and not only that, Benny, we got a problem in Wisconsin. That Supreme Court justice won in Wisconsin. So the Wisconsin Supreme Court is controlled by the left now, and they have filed a lawsuit to basically change the district lines in Wisconsin. We'll lose 2 House seats on that. And the same thing can happen in North Carolina, because now the North Carolina Supreme Court is left. It's held by the Democrats, and all they need is a lawsuit in North Carolina, and they can redraw district lines in North Carolina, and we will lose more seats just by Democrats controlling those state Supreme Courts.
Republicans are so unbelievably weak. We don't use this word to describe anyone in Congress or serving. We'll use it to describe Marjorie Taylor Greene. Fearless. She's a fearless. She's fearless in how she speaks. She's fearless in what she does, and she actually delivers for the American people. Please follow her. Make sure that we're giving power to those who fight for us. 1.5 million Americans follow Marjorie Taylor Greene. Millions across all social media platforms. Make sure that you're, again, giving power to the people who are fighting for us. And she does have the most epic cover photo there of anyone in Congress. You and Tucker and Trump at the golf.
That's my politics.
That's the spectrum. This is the allowable spectrum of politics. Right.
That's it.
Godspeed, Congressman. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Benny.
Man, okay, we're cooking. We're cooking through the power outages. We do want to note 1 or 2 very quick things. Inflation news, massive. Inflation eased after Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. Defying fears, inflation has dropped and has collapsed since President Trump. It is cooled from 1 year ago. Egg prices are now down 10%. Ladies and gentlemen, there are massive drops in gasoline prices as well, 12% over the last year. This is obviously reflected here. I couldn't believe it. I was driving to work. Here in Tampa, gas is relatively expensive. Nothing like in California. We were in California last week. It's crazy. But here in Tampa, it is relatively expensive. Dude, it was like $2.80 in Tampa. What's your gas prices? Let me know in the comment section. Where are your gas prices? It's amazing. So I was like, should we hoard it? Should we? I think it'll drop even further. President Joe Biden, was he going to be wheelchair bound? Boy, this is what they were reporting this morning on CNN. Do we have a clip of that? Clip line? Yeah? All right. Well, let's just take it. We covered it quickly, and then we're going to get to Erica Donalds, who is running, I guess, for First Lady of the state of Florida. Her husband, Byron Donalds. We have some breaking polls on all of that. But since we covered this, exclusive, Biden aides discussed how Joe Biden will be in a wheelchair if he is reelected. Let's go.
I'm curious about what his advisors were saying at the time as you look at this, as you reported out this book.
So the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, was telling White House aides that President Biden's deterioration of his spine, the degeneration, was so significant that if he fell one more time, that he might have to be in a wheelchair and serve in a wheelchair for his second term. But everybody pushed off the notion that he use a wheelchair until after the election. This is all part of a larger whole where the Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration, both physical and cognitive, as much as possible. In fact, as we all saw, as his shuffling gait got worse and worse from 2003 to 2004, they started putting aids around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter. That was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad his walking was, his shuffling, and also in case he stumbled again to make sure somebody was there. And this is just of a piece of an overall campaign to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job.
You need strong leaders. You can't have people that are in like, it's one thing, like the governor of Texas, for instance. He's in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair since the 80s, I believe, when a horrible accident, a tree hit his spine while he was out jogging. I'm not trying to, this isn't a knock on that. This is a knock on Joe Biden's in a wheelchair because he's infirmed in the skull. He's infirmed, he has He has clearly a neurodegenerative problem in his brain, where his brain doesn't work, his body doesn't even work. Parkinson's, dementia, something. You must have strong leaders. You have to have strong governors. What do you think of the governor of Texas? His name's Greg Abbott. I had a lot of people from the Texas government on the program. Have we ever had Greg Abbott? Let's book him. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, booked right now is someone who is running with her husband for governor here in the state of Florida. Her name is Erica Donalds. Her husband, Byron Donalds, has some brand new poll numbers that are pretty seismic. And Erica joins the program live now. Erica, we appreciate you being with us today. Obviously, there was a big delay because Donald Trump gave a barn burner in Riyadh, and we were taking that live. Maybe like just a quick reaction here to this Joe Biden news. I mean, we all had to live under this this reign of terror. Your husband was in Congress during this time, yeah, not a great look. We have to put him in a wheelchair because he has dementia.
Yeah, those were dark days, Benny, for sure, and disappointing when you get elected to Congress and Byron's first 2 years, he was under Nancy Pelosi as Speaker and Biden as President. So it was just sort of a disaster for us and for the country. But you did mention Governor Abbott, and I want to give him a little shout out because he did the largest day one school choice expansion in the country. Just last week, he signed it into law. So if you have him on the program, you can definitely ask him to tout that great school choice policy that is now in place in Texas, making sure that now over half of American children are eligible for some school choice program. So big win for school choice. And thank you, Governor Abbott, for signing that into law.
This is amazing. This is obviously a passion project for you. Happy belated Mother's Day, by the way. You have 3 beautiful sons. What's the status in the state of Florida? I guess there's going to be a school choice element to the large reconciliation bill that's potentially being passed in Congress.
This is a huge news that just came out yesterday in the Ways and Means Committee markup bill for reconciliation, the Education Choice for Children Act, the very first federal law that would create a school choice program nationally, which means that if this passes through reconciliation, a tax credit will be available to give scholarships to private schools students in New York, California, other blue states who otherwise will never see private school choice. Right now, it's looking at $5 to $10 billion, which will allow you or I to donate to a scholarship organization, get a full dollar for dollar tax credit, and students in those states could access those funds to go to a private school of their choice. It's huge, and we hope that it passes. We've got great support in the House and the Senate for this legislation.
Okay, so that's on a national level. Zooming down to the state of Florida, and my kids are not in school right now. My oldest is a 4-year-old. We're doing like some homeschooling right now, learning the letters and things like that. But in the state of Florida, school choice is the law.
It is. And we have a scholarship program here in Florida. And actually, we're now up to 17 states that have universal school choice, similar to Florida's program, where when your children are in school, and they'll all be in school at the same time eventually, you'll be able to access $9,000. That's a number right now that would have otherwise gone to their public school of your zone. Instead, you as a parent get to access those funds, and you might choose to use it on full-time tuition at a private school. But we have a program called an education scholarship account where you might customize each of their educations, accessing online courses, maybe part-time courses in person, tutoring, or other special services, even sports and after-school clubs and programs where you can take your child that you know best and decide how to spend those education dollars to help them get the best education that they deserve.
It's a great program because it means that the public schools have to pretty much bid out. Like they better be delivering right for the kids. Otherwise the money can move, it can walk. And
Absolutely. I served on the school board here, as you know, Benny. My experience for 4 years on a public school board told me that the system is completely broken and we need free market competition in the education sector. We have it in all other areas of our economy. America is a leader in technology and innovation, except for in education, where we fall way behind the rest of the world. Even in Florida, where we're in the top 10 in the country, when top 10 in the country means bottom 10 in the world doesn't mean much. We've got to do better. And the free market innovation and quality that it comes with those free market principles is what we need in education. So these education scholarship accounts are going to bring it across the country.
Yeah. People in, I know that you're from the Tampa area. People in Tampa are obsessed with the schools that their kids go to. We hear, like, it's all I ever hear about. And it's the first question that anybody ever asks. And it's like, school in the garage is where we are right now. But with, like, obviously Florida is becoming quite the epicenter for good education. We want it to remain that way. A lot of really good things happening in the state. New polling numbers out here from Florida Voice News. It looks like your husband is in a dominant position. He's got the President Trump endorsement here in the state of Florida. And so how is the campaign going? And give us an update.
Well, we spent the day yesterday in the Miami-Dade area, which of course is a big area of voters for that Republican primary, which is ultimately going to decide the election, we believe, with Florida being such a red state, stopping at schools and campaign rallies, churches, fundraisers. Yeah, that's what it takes. I mean, the support has really been overwhelming. The amount of money that Byron has been able to raise in just a short period of time shows you how much grassroots and donor, type support that you need, because campaigns cost a lot. But most importantly, having President Trump's full endorsement, that Run Byron Run tweet was so glorious to see back in February. We know that he has the full support of the president. The president has pledged to be behind him all the way to the governor's mansion. So that is something that really means a lot. And the polling that you mentioned, 62% of Republicans said that they would be voting for the person that Donald Trump endorses. So definitely means a lot to have both grassroots support, the support of the president, and the support of so many other leaders in our communities here across the state, our home state, which we're so happy to have you in, Benny.
So yes, I mean, when we were looking to move, Florida was obviously top of the list, but we were also looking at Texas. We were looking at Ohio and Tennessee for a little bit. I saw something interesting out of Ohio, that in the Ohio state legislature, there was a bill that is now gaining a ton of traction of getting rid of property taxes. And also Governor DeSantis has been talking about this quite publicly, and how why do I have to continue to pay money on something that I own? That makes no sense. It doesn't happen for anything else. Nothing else that I buy, I have to constantly keep paying taxes on. This is, I think, would create like a massive inflow of young people and affordability here in the state of Florida, because it's just crippling the amount of property taxes that you pay in certain municipalities. Where do you stand on that? And is that something that we could expect in a Donald's administration?
Yeah, I'm definitely a huge supporter of getting rid of property taxes. As you know, Florida is a low tax state in every aspect. We have no income taxes in Florida. We have a relatively low sales tax. We have so many tourists coming in, paying that sales tax and helping our state budget. Our local communities, however, are completely dependent on property taxes. So we can't just get rid of it tomorrow. How are you going to fund your schools, your police and fire services, your transportation services locally? So that does have to be worked out. You don't want local governments hiking the sales tax in their community, because they don't have those property taxes in order to fund the local government. So that has to be addressed while we're talking about eliminating property taxes overall. But I completely agree, especially when our property values have gone up so much. That doesn't put cash in our pockets. That's just a value for now. It could also go down. But we have to take cash out of our pockets to pay those property taxes when the values go up. So definitely need to look at all aspects of this and how we're going to fund our local governments if we're not going to use property taxes to do so, especially in our rural counties that don't have the tourism base that we have here in Naples, for example.
Well, all right. I mean, I'm tired of seeing California brag that it has like a bigger economy than Florida's. Okay, so that's something I'm going to demand it. I'm going to hold you to it, Erica. We're going to beat California. Californians, we have $4 trillion. Well, I checked on Florida. Florida's like above $2 trillion. And so that makes it the 14th largest economy in the world. And so, let's freaking go. We must beat California. It has to happen.
I completely agree, and we will. Byron's been talking about on the campaign trail that Florida is going to be the financial hub of the world, not just of the country. Forget New York, forget Chicago. It's all going to be happening in Florida. Not only that, but the digital asset capital of the world as well. We're already seeing that happen in Miami. And when NASA headquarters is moved to Florida, not to Texas, as is supported by our entire delegation, bipartisan, and as well as our governor and leadership here, we're also going to have an aerospace hub and a tech hub in that area of Florida. You know, Florida is up and coming. We're no longer just a retirement state or a tourism state. We're an everything state, and that is going to make our economy grow. We're definitely going to beat California. Don't you worry about it, Benny.
Follow the great Erica Donalds on her social media. Here she is. She's on her way to 100,000 followers. She's got a beautiful family and a very, very bright future. The future of Florida looks very, very bright because we have young, dynamic leadership, not leadership that needs to secretly be in a wheelchair. And I know this as a matter of fact. I've seen Byron we went to the UFC. We went to UFC together, and he walked in with President Trump just the other weekend. Yeah,
it was awesome with all of our boys. You know, we really got a lot of parent points for that, Benny.
That's right.
Kids to UFC. It was awesome. And meeting you know, this is such a superstar.
One of these days, Byron in the octagon. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Thank you so much, Erica. Godspeed. Everyone follow and give power to the people who are fighting for us.
Thanks, Benny, for all you do.
Yeah. Man, Biden in a wheelchair. Jeez, how long until that happens? I don't know. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, right? Eventually. Oof, woof. It is rough out there. Sometimes you have shows that you kind of do on a prayer. So this is a good example. Today we were like, let's just go live. We're just gonna go live early. We're gonna hope that President Trump speaks at some point, right? The schedule is really loose on these things. It was like 90 minutes off actually from when he was supposed to speak. So we just kind of like, you just hope and pray, right? You do things on a prayer, and then when the power goes out in your entire studio, it's not our internet going off, it's not something we can fix, it's literally the power company shutting the power off. Well, it is something we're going to fix because we're going to put redundancies in here in the studio. But then you just keep praying. And I'm very glad that we were able to lock in, jump back online, and be ready to rock and roll. Here's President, you gotta play that, Klein. Just a reminder of what we're due tonight. We're getting Trump and the sword. Trump with the swords. It's going to be the Trump sword dance. Ladies and gentlemen, our verse of the day from Colossians 4:6. Let your conversations always be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Well, we certainly have our salty seasoning here in the studio, and we're certainly thankful for you. Again, as we've said, we're just deeply humbled by the journey here that we've been building, the providence of God, God's grace in all of this, and a reminder in every single show that Christ is King. Every single show, the verse of the day, and seasoned with salt. Man, that should be the tagline for the show. This should be this tagline for the show. Prepare for tonight. Donald Trump and the sword dance is going to be very interesting. Here he is. Here's Donald Trump doing the sword dance. This was last time he went to Saudi Arabia. This was about 8 years ago. And here's hoping more Trump handling some massive sword handed to him by some Saudi knight, I guess. whatever they would call him. Trump grabs the sword. That's too good. All right. And here he is, Dan. This is the original YMCA. This is the Saudi YMCA dance. All right. We're freaking back, boys. Exciting times. Thank you for rolling with us through it all, and we'll see ya. It's your boy Benny. Later.
Truth gon' be faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.